on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Six o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Raiders and NFL quarterback Geno Smith agreed on a 2-year extension worth up to $85.5 million. The Raiders acquired Smith for a third-round draft pick from Seattle back on March 7th after setting a career high in passing yards with 4,320. The 34-year-old two-time Pro Bowl reunites with first-year Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. The Raiders the Cardinals, and tight end Trey McBride agreed to a 4-year, $76 million extension. McBride is now the highest-paid tight end in NFL history, surpassing Travis Kelce. The second-round pick in 2022 is coming off his first Pro Bowl season, setting a career high with 111 receptions and 1,146 yards. The Final Four is tomorrow, starting with Florida taking on Auburn at 5:09 Central Time in a first-ever SEC head-to-head matchup. The Gators beat the Tigers 90-81 back on February 8th. And then at 7:49 Central, it's Houston taking on Duke. The Cougars and Blue Devils have met once in their history, the Elite Eight last season, where Duke won 54-51. Both games are on CBS. The Chattanooga Mocs took home their first NIT championship last night in an 85-84 overtime thriller, upsetting number 1 seed UC Irvine. And in case you missed it yesterday, our own Ramon Foster was announced as the new color analyst for the Tennessee Volunteer Football for Vol Network, alongside first-year Vols play-by-play announcer Mike Keith, formerly of Titans Radio. It's a new era on Rocky Top. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. a good Friday morning, I should say, at that, because on this show, of course, we always celebrate a Friday. I've got a new announcement to make. Alongside, yes, he is an 11-year NFL veteran.
Hey,
yes,
hey.
he is a Vol for life. But now he is also the color analyst for the Vol Network for Tennessee football. It is Ramon Foster.
Hey.
That's right.
Appreciate
That's
that,
right.
Kayla.
Because we didn't get an announcement on the show yet.
We did not. I told you guys going into the last hour, but we did not announce it, man. Happened yesterday at about 2:40 Central Time. I think it was an article that got out at like 2 o'clock. Somebody got the lead on it, and it was actually pretty cool. It's been nothing but a blitz ever since, Kayla. I feel like a Denard Wilson defense blitzed me or a Dick LeBeau defense blitzing. My phone has been fire hot, man. So I'm very appreciative and thankful and humbled by everything yesterday.
Well, we'll get back to that in just a second.
No doubt.
Justin is with us as well. Great first, what is that called that we do?
Update.
A little
Sports update.
morning sports update. That was
thank you.
your first. Sounded great.
That was good, man.
A lot
Good
of
pace
firsts on the show.
Yeah, it is. Good pace, good cadence, and everything
Loved
this
it.
morning. He didn't have have you ever had, Kayla, the nervous voice where you feel like you can't catch your breath while you're talking?
I'm sure somewhere in a live shot down, back in the past, I'm sure I had a couple of those moments for sure.
I hated that.
Crackling or like you have to like catch your breath real quick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That public speaking anxiety is something serious, Kayla.
It is. And
Yeah.
public speaking, by the way, Ramon
Yeah.
and Justin, very different from just even being on TV. Like, I never had an issue necessarily talking into a camera. However, getting up and talking to a live audience is very different.
Way different. You feel
Very
like they're
different.
judging you. Yeah, everything
I get
you're
like
doing.
the sweaty pits, like like everybody gets their different things. I get like the sweaty pits when I get
Look,
nervous.
I'm just a very talkative, outgoing person, so some things just don't bother me. And talking, now I do have a little bit of dry mouth, but that's just waking up this morning.
Sure.
That happens every day.
sure.
That's crazy, Justin. I thought you were, knowing you, seeing you, I've passed you numerous times. We've been around each other in situations. I've always viewed you as just like the quiet guy. You're shy guy to me. That's what I always thought.
Dude, we got to change that.
I
Yeah, we gotta
probably would have
change that.
thought the same thing.
You thought
Justin.
the same thing? Like,
Yeah.
No, did not see
Look,
you
I'm
as an
I'm learning my
extrovert like
role.
that. Okay.
See, he
I'm
knows
learning
how
my
to
role,
play
and
it.
then when it's learned,
Yep.
you see what Bert does every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be something like that. It's just once I get comfortable and
I love that.
I learn you, you'll learn me.
See, that is what I learned going into broadcasting
Yeah.
is when you go to a new market, and I was in many, this is my 8th market, I always learned you have to sit back for a second
Yes,
because there's a
indeed.
lot of media that is established where you are, people who have had jobs longer than you in that, place.
Facts.
And so I always came in, I sat back, like Justin said, sat back, kind of saw how everything went,
Right.
saw where at times I could start to insert a question or something. It's funny, though, when you get the opposite of a person who comes into a market and you do things that way and they come in just blazing.
Come in hot.
Yeah, and I'm
they-
like, they didn't learn the way I did, but whatever, to each is your own,
Yeah, some
So,
people get real comfortable on your couch fast.
real comfortable. They're
comfortable.
putting their sweaty feet up, all that.
No doubt.
Will Bowling out today. He's doing, I believe, cross country and softball.
No, he's got track this weekend. Big
track
Sea
and
Rays, I
softball.
think it is. Sea Ray Relays in Knoxville. I may be wrong on the name, but I think that's what it is. That is a
Yes.
big old track. That's a big track event that he's calling today. So I
Yep,
think
so
it's
track
that. I'm not sure if
today,
it's
softball
softball.
tomorrow.
Okay, yes. He
I
busy
think
is what we know.
Yeah,
this
I think
weekend.
that's what it is. So I'm holding down the driver's seat today. So we will drive safe because it is still wet out there. There is flooding still going on. So if you are out and about, just be careful. There's also, Ramon reminded me of this. Actually, I didn't even know of this. There is an
a
accident.
serious one.
Where is it? Demumbrian?
It's in the Gulch, Demumbrian, and
Right
I
by
forget
Del
what else.
Frisco
Yeah,
Grill.
at the corner of Del
Yeah.
Frisco's, basically.
So plan accordingly if you are anywhere around that area.
Getting off this exit of Demumbrian on coming from the north side of town is blocked off if you're trying to go right down Demumbrian.
Okay.
So find yourself around a different route. Yes, it is. It's the Tennessee Invite this weekend also for
The Tennessee
football.
Invite.
Yes. But yes, Demumbrian shut off going into Broadway.
Okay. Yeah. So just a heads up on that. Of course, we're brewed up by Scooter's Coffee. They've got
yay.
locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, Excuse me.
Smyrna.
That was very bad
I
pronunciation.
used to call it like that, too.
I know. I was like, I will get a call in 2 seconds.
People corrected
And
me
Brent
also.
would.
Don't trip. Yeah,
I know.
it happened to me, too.
I mean, I'm not from here, but I try to learn to say things the correct way. You can download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead. You can save $2 off on your first mobile order. And believe me, it's worth it, guys. We've got so many listeners and viewers that have posted stuff about scooters the past 3 weeks we've had the sponsorship, and people are loving it. And we are going to have something fun coming up.
Yes, we are.
So we've got to get our scientists, like, what do we call it?
Research and development. Yeah, mixologists.
Going.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all going to have our own special coffee.
I can't wait to release the Ramon.
I know.
Can't wait. Absolutely.
It's like releasing the Kraken, release the remote.
No doubt.
I should be the judge.
You should be the judge.
You could be.
You could be.
Y'all make it. I try it. I pick the winner.
If y'all allow me to
Okay.
be late one morning, I'll go pick it up, is what I tell y'all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
stop
down
in
with
White
that
House and go
because it's
get that
right
one.
by you
Yeah,
or somewhere close to
absolutely.
you. So today on the show, of course, we're going to have a little fun. We've got tons of guests, though. Of course, we're going to give Ramon the flowers as he is joining the Vol Network. So we will be talking about that. And we'd love if you want to give a congratulations to Moan, 615-737-1045. Love to hear from you. Talk a little bit about Cam Ward and a specialty in terms of a category last year for him at Miami. And if that can translate to the Titans, if they do indeed select him at number 1. We've got Brent Hubbs coming up in hour 2, talk a little Vols. Ron Slay did a great job last night
He did.
on the ESPN 3-point
He did.
shot contest, everything that went
And
along
dunk
with that.
contest last night. I watched the entire thing, man. It was an awesome event. I ain't gonna lie. I was, of course, definitely invested in it because Savage was on there.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought he was good. I thought he was super entertaining. I'll be honest with you. The participants, contestants in it, they were real good, man. Grills from Missouri is who Savage had slated to win the 3-point contest. Came up short, but man, it was definitely entertaining. I see why they asked Savage to come down there. It was a cool event.
Perfect event for him to MC.
It was.
It was great. And Jay Villas was on there with him, and
Which is crazy.
which was really crazy to hear the two going back and forth. Just to that level. Slay's been on the SEC network. Obviously, he's done some ESPN stuff, but that was cool to see those two together as well. So he'll come in hour 3. He'll join us. And then voice of the Vols.
Yay.
Mike Keith, our special guest today in hour 4. Interested to see how we can get these two going now that they are teammates again, not on the Titans broadcast, but on the Vols podcast.
We are again, man. I'll be honest. I've been holding on to that little secret for a little bit.
That's gotta be tough.
It was.
Man, I hate keeping secrets.
It was, especially when it's gonna be so public like that. I've been mentally drained for a little while now, just trying to piece everything together. You got to go through the legals and everything as it pertains to taking a job like that, the decisions to take a job like that, because Titans Radio has been, I'm talking about, really good to me.
Yeah.
Just the entire crew has been. And I'll share those sentiments throughout the course of the show today. But I am relieved. I'm excited, man. Beyond humbled to be in this spot with Mike Keith and Vol Network and the group that we'll be working with. Jason Swain, my former teammate, Brent Hubs. Is now a teammate, man.
This is going to be wild. I mean, your conversation today just in general is going to be wild with him.
It is. But I'll say this, from the storms Wednesday night or Thursday morning to all day yesterday, I may have been working on the same as probably everybody else around the city.
Sleep-wise?
4 hours of sleep or something. I ain't take a nap yesterday because my phone was going crazy all yesterday.
You were probably checking everything too, just to keep up with it.
Yeah, and trying to make sure I say thank you to everybody that I knew personally and to a lot of fans too. I slept so hard last night.
Good for you.
I was hopping in my truck. I was like, okay, I got a little bounce to him. It's like, oh, it's because you fell asleep actually last night. It was...
Sleep will change your life.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
What is sleep? Sometimes I ask myself. Maybe one day I'll get some.
Get you some, man.
So, Bruce, we've got Bruce on the phone lines. He wants to say congrats, Ramon. Let's go out to Bruce.
All right, I appreciate that. Bruce, good morning.
Good morning, Big Ragu. From South Sumner, brother, we are so proud of you. I just can't tell you how happy I am to see your career progressing like it has.
I appreciate that, man. I'll tell you this. I did not write this script at all, man. I thank God for that. And I'll be honest with you, my wife, because I keep telling people, like, I was close to taking a sales job before taking this.
Sure.
And she was like, why would you do that? No, this is what you do. And she was also being selfish, too. She said she wanted me home more, and she knew the radio would do it. So, Bruce,
Yeah.
I got a lot of thanks to a lot of people, man. I appreciate you calling in this morning, too.
Thanks,
Well,
Bruce.
hey, Ramon, you know that our wives are the much better half and smarter than us anyway.
They
so,
are.
KK,
You
hats
said
off to you, KK.
Yeah, thank you.
No doubt,
I try. That's all I got to say. I try sometimes, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Great stuff. Like I said, if you like to give Ramon some congrats, what a big move as he's not moving from the show. He's just adding to his resume and going to be a color analyst for Vol football this year and moving forward. So if you want to give your congrats, you can do that today, 615-737-1045. Coming up next, Cam Ward's specialty. Maybe that should be a coffee drink. What he did at Miami last year, right? That he could have a sandwich, he could have a hamburger.
That's what I'm saying. Some steakhouse got to give him his own steak. Yeah, the Ward.
Hands down.
The Ward.
The Ward.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
What could he better year one in the Titans offense? We'll have that discussion next here on RKW. Welcome back into Friday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. If you are just joining us, you're just hopping in your car or turning on the F&M Bank chat. Of course, you can watch us. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Ramon Foster, yesterday, the announcement came down. He has been named the color analyst for the Vol Network for Vol football this year, I should say, and moving forward with Mike Keith alongside of him. So we are giving our congrats today to him. And before we get to the Cam Ward discussion, we got to go out to the phone lines. Jason in Shelbyville wants to give a little congrats to Ramon. What's up, Jason?
Happy Friday, Jason.
Good morning. How are you all?
We're good. Good morning.
First-time caller, long-time listener. I've been blessed with the opportunity because of my friendship with Philip Noel. I got to work with Titans Radio on the sideline microphones quite a bit, so I got to know Ramon a little bit. And Ramon, as I talked to Philip yesterday, I can't put into words how happy I am for you. You are first class on the mic, and you're first class even when the microphone is off. And, we all love the Titans. We love NFL football, but at the end of the day, Knoxville, Neyland Stadium, Vol Nation, that's home. And you're back home now, and I couldn't be more happier for you.
I appreciate that, man.
Thanks,
that means
Jason,
a lot, man. Philip Noel's such a guy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a guy. Yes, he is, man. If you know him, then you're a great guy, and we've talked before, too. So appreciate you calling in.
Hey, best of luck to you, Ramon, and I'll see you guys this fall.
No doubt.
Right.
Go Vols,
Thanks,
baby.
Jason.
Go Vols.
Yeah, that's awesome, though, just to be with a lot of the crew you already kind of know. So it's one thing to go into a job and it's new and you don't know everyone. And sometimes you have to learn how to be yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
But in a situation like that, you're going in with most people that you already knew or you knew back when you were growing up with Brent Hubs, being the recruiting guy there. So that's got to be more of a more settling feeling, I would think.
It was, and I'll be honest with you, Mike, we had talked before, and I talked to Glenn Thaxton also of Vol Network, and it was just like, everybody's excited about this. In Knoxville, that was. And I was just like, all right, whatever. So when I went up Monday night to see the scrimmage also, we did some stuff that night. And it was like Tuesday I hung around a little bit at the facility. I told you guys I went to the team meeting room. I got invited into it, and I also went to the O-line room. And after, I started talking to a lot of folks that I knew. It was a few folks that was there when I was there, and they were genuinely excited. And that made me more pumped about the job and the role I ended up playing. I'll be honest, I'll just pull the curtain back a little bit. It was one guy in particular that said something yesterday, man. It was Austin Stanley.
A to Z Sports?
A to Z Sports, man, our teammate here. Austin kind of put a little weight on it yesterday, man. It was really cool because we were exchanging formalities and texts. He sent me congratulations. Sure. And he was just like, man, for real, big congrats. I know he was like, but what a legitimately cool job. You get to be one of the biggest ambassadors for one of the craziest fan bases on the planet for a program you played for. So
your
cool.
program.
And
that's
I was just
the
like,
craziest part.
that was cool from Austin, man. There's a lot more texts I have in my phone like that, but Austin really, put it in context yesterday.
Yeah. Hit home for you.
Yeah, hit home for me, considering we talked a good bit, and Austin's a great dude, too. So, I got a lot of that yesterday, and it was it still pours in. I called my high school coach yesterday. We talked for a while because he was one of the main ones that, when we were being recruited, used to take us on those road trips and everything. So, called him, man. It was a lot of phone calls yesterday.
It's overwhelming sometimes.
It is.
You'll probably have that for the rest of the weekend where you're getting caught up on
and again
phone
at
calls
the spring
and texts.
game as we're calling that too.
Exactly.
So,
That's going to be phenomenal. Bam, let's go out to Bam in Nashville.
Bam.
What's up, Bam?
My boy. What up, Bam? What up, everybody?
What up, Bam? We're good.
Hey, Ramon, look, bro, we've been riding with you literally since day one, bro.
Y'all
literally since
have.
day one, man. Like, when I say literally since your first day, I mean that literally, bro. I'm so proud of you, man. The selfish part of me, I'm going to miss you on Sundays out at Nissan.
No
doubt. What I'm saying? But we riding with you on Rocky Top, my boy. So,
man, I appreciate that, Bam.
Either which way it go, it's all love on this end. I'm glad you're just still gonna be here on Monday through Friday. I got nervous for a minute. I got nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I got nervous.
We juggle a lot of things in this business.
We do.
You got to just make it happen.
Hey, Ramon, but heavy is the head that wears the crown, my boy. And you wearing that, boy. You wearing that, boy, man. Keep wearing it, bro. Keep wearing it for us all, bro.
We keep stacking, Bam. You know how it goes, man.
Absolutely. Keep stacking W's, man. We don't take L's around this boy.
You best believe it. Even when we do, we don't acknowledge the L's. We just learn from them.
Absolutely, man. But so congratulations, my dude. It's all love, man. Scooter's on me.
Yeah.
We up, bro. We up.
And we got to go to your sandwich shop, too. Trust me, it's on my list.
Oh, I didn't know we had one.
Bro. Music City Sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich shop.
Are we going to get a Cam Ward special if he gets drafted here? Okay.
There it
Perfect.
is.
Perfect.
Yeah, just come get one of them sandwiches. It's gonna make you feel like you on Rocky Top.
Thanks so much, Bam. Have a great Friday.
Bam. All good, man. All good.
No doubt.
And yes, if you are wondering, I know Michael Spain in the F&M Bank chat was wondering if you would still be on the show. Of course. Like I said, it's hard sometimes because you think like, oh gosh, like there's a lot that goes into it when you're doing other jobs like a color analyst or like Ron, is doing with basketball. We all do things on the side, but like doing that, preparing for that is a lot of work. But that's kind of what we do in this business. And radio honestly gives you the platform to do different things, which I actually love because coming from the local news aspect of it, where you are literally tied to local news and sports, and that's all, and you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
They don't let you do much else, much other than that. So it's nice, working for a place like this that's allowing us to do these other things, and it just gets more eyes on the program, and of course, hey, we'll take the eyes on us too on this show. Not going to lie.
Absolutely.
So our conversation this morning, in terms of Cam Ward, as we are counting down the days to the NFL draft, we're about 3 weeks away. It looks like Cam Ward, again, is going to be the guy that they take at number one, barring any change. And one of the biggest things that I have in the back of my mind with the question is, realistically, what kind of thing could he do in year one that can better the offense? This might be one of those things, and it sounds maybe minuscule, but when it comes to the offense and moving the chains, this is a big part of that the Titans have kind of been missing. So here is Mina Kimes. ESPN Mina Kimes does a great job breaking down everything when it comes to the NFL. She had this to say on her podcast about Cam Ward and the success on third down last year at Miami.
The reason why I've become so comfortable with him as 1-1 and I feel good about him in the NFL, I think it really shows up when you look at his third down numbers. So on third down last year, 95 QBR, which is crazy. First amongst not just prospects.
Stats are insane. All the underlying numbers are
insane.
Off the chart.
First in yards per dropback on third down, second in EPA per dropback, but first amongst the draft prospects. What that captures to me is what we have been describing, which is he is both capable of playing in structure in obvious passing situations. So you taking out play action, but he also is a problem solver. Those third down numbers, which are insane, capture both of those things, and those combined are why he's such a good prospect to me.
I thought this year he really balanced the getting into creation mode, staying in the pocket, and then when to scramble or extend plays and everything. And I think that aspect was really pleasing, I think, to watch. Because again, what the highlights and how I think people think of Ward is the crazy plays out of structure. But it's like, man, stuff he does in structure and his timing. That's the word I just kept coming back to. The timing that he plays with. It's a strong suit of his game, which I think is very exciting.
So that was Mina Kimes on her podcast discussing the positives of Cam Ward and maybe some of the things that have convinced her that he indeed should be the number one overall pick. So I ask you guys this, and Justin, we'll bring you in on the conversation. You heard some of the numbers there with third down, 95 QBR. That was first in college football, 8.51 yards and drop back, first in college football last year. And the question is, can he quickly translate that in terms of the NFL and being able to have that much success at the NFL level with the third down? Because when you look at Will Levis in 2024, Justin did a great job finding some of these numbers yesterday. And what website did you go to just to make sure?
This is the football database.
Yeah, because it's different, I think, is what Bert said when we were all in our group text.
Yeah, there's all kinds of.
There's
you got
all,
PFF,
it can vary.
Pro Football Reference. There's a lot, and there's a lot of different numbers.
Exactly. So why don't you go ahead and discuss some of the numbers with Will Levis compared to obviously Cam Ward at the college level last year, but just in terms of giving people an idea of what Will Levis was doing in third down situations last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the audience really needs to know how bad Will Levis is. But at the same time, look, Will Levis on third down is just very mediocre.
Yeah.
So on third down, he was 87.4 QBR, which is 19th in the NFL amongst starters playing in at least 10 games last season. He had 45 completions on 77 attempts, 58.4%. All those numbers don't scream good. In fact, they were near the bottom of the league. 29th in the NFL in completions, 30th in the NFL in attempts, and 22nd in the NFL in the completion percentage. 759 yards, 19th in the NFL. All his numbers are towards the bottom of the league. Not even, I mean, you're not even really screaming average right now. He had 4 interceptions on third down, 7th in the NFL on that number.
And to even add more context to it, too, I was writing stuff down as you was talking, Jayhawk, but it was also this, too, for me with Will Levis. You mentioned the 58.4% completion percentage, but here's what also kind of screws him up even more. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, so that's moot. Nothing from that also, but it's this part that kind of gets me on third. Now, a lot goes into it when it comes to this next stat, but it's 18 sacks on third down, too. Like, that's a drive killer. That's probably the way you set yourself up throughout the course of the game. First and second down matters also, but everything about his third down seems to have been negative this year as far as Will Levis. So discussing the, what I feel like always some guys possess versus others. It seemed like Will Levis's ability to close out on those big moments right there, those third downs mean a lot. Now, a lot of coaches will tell you, be really good on first and second down. Specifically, first down matters. If you're good on first down, it's easier to convert or at least set yourself up. Well, the playbook is more open for you in those moments. Also with Levis, too, I looked this up real quick, too. The most important quarters, I feel like, in football is closing out the half and ending the game. That has been very problematic in Will Levis. This is also from ESPN's their stats. Okay, so it may be a little bit different from website to website as pertains to it. But here's what's super unique about Will Levis is second and fourth quarters. Second and fourth quarters, and then we'll get back to Cam Ward as it pertains to it. And I guess when you look at this, you see why a change was needed, or at least more competition with Cam Ward or whoever else is coming in. So second quarter results for Will Levis in 2024 with this. His completion percentage in the second quarter, not bad. 63%. He was 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Okay.
He was at a 75.6 quarterback rating, but he also gave up 16 sacks. His fourth quarter was 50% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a 59.2 QBR, and 11 sacks given up. Now, to give more context to that, though, too, as I pull this stat back up or pull these numbers back up, his first quarter and third quarter, really good. Got off to a real good start. And I'm wondering, was that the script that Coach Callahan had for him? But it was just more manageable because you're filling it out, right? His first quarter stats were this. 75% completion percentage with 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His rating in the first quarter, 104.5. Shout out to the station. 104.5.
I like that.
Only 5 sacks given up. His third quarter stats were this, 71.4%. This is Will Levis we're speaking of. 71.4%. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with a rating of 98.8. His first and third is elite. It's the moments where Will Levis has to close out to where he got bad. And that's that mental makeup. That's that decision making. That is that crunch time gene that you got to have sometimes. That to me is very telling. Now, Cam Ward.
That is why it's funny because you set that up perfectly. When you listen to Mina Kimes, one word came into mind, or 2 words came into mind: problem solver, attached to Cam Ward when watching and breaking down his film. And even going back as far, watching him at Washington State when they were in third down situations, when you always have that feeling like your team's going to convert or they're not. That's always one thing that I always worried about with the Cougs in the past was like, like, oh gosh, they're going to screw up this third down. Like they're, we're off the field. Offense is off the field.
You had a little CVS.
Oh yeah, Coog.
Yes,
we just call it Cooging it there.
Yes.
But with Cam Ward, when Cam Ward came into that program, honestly, I always felt a little bit better with him at quarterback in those third down situations. Because of that, he's a problem solver. And I think you're exactly right on, Ramon. When the script is there for Will Levis and it's there for him to just follow, things are good for Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
He's got everything in terms of the intangibles. It's when things don't go according to the paper or plan, that's when you need your quarterback to be the best. And I think that's where Cam can really improve the offense if he is indeed the pick for the Titans.
Yeah, if he holds true to what he is and what he's capable of. DeMario in our YouTube chat put this down. It's like pressure bust left as his pipes, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And that matters, man. Having guys that you can trust in big moments. Like, everybody has to deal with this type of stuff, too, as it pertains to, like, pressurized moments. Like, it's been in spots where, an offensive tackle or guard, it's 3rd and 8. You got to have it. And everybody in the stadium know you're passing it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, those are the type of things that separate the starters from the backups and the starters from the bench riders. Like, can you handle being in that moment? Or Jeffrey Simmons, hey, it's 3rd and 2. They can't get the first down. How you and your guys gonna stand up? You one-on-one with this guy. That matters in football. So looking at those stat lines from Will Levis is very interesting. I will say this too. Mina Constant were bragging about his ability to convert and be good on third down, but they said something. I was just like, well, that's him. I forget who the guy was that was on there.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Tice.
Nick Tice, that's
Nick
right.
Tice, that's who that was.
That's
Nate
right.
was speaking about, like, Cam's adjustment to actually doing a whole lot more stuff in the pocket. And that's what's most impressive about
structure,
him. Yeah, his structure of what he's doing. But I'll say this, too. That's awesome, and you want that to be the case. But the reason we know Cam Ward is because of how unique he is in improvising plays.
100%.
That always needs to be a part of his game. Mm-hmm. It's his ability to create, his ability to extend plays and find his guys down the field. That is, again, guys, everybody do the basic standard stuff. What is making you unique to actually help your team win? And I think that is something that he needs to always possess. And if the Titans do go ahead and draft him, they never need to take that away from him. Now,
absolutely,
you don't want to go gunslinger mode and how Will Levis goes about things or how he went about stuff. I love to know the conversation that they had on what they were going to allow him to do. You know what I'm saying?
Because I do too.
Hearing Coach Callahan speak about how they're going to treat if they go ahead and get Cam Ward, he said he wants his first year in the NFL to be like his 3rd year in college, right? And I wonder, was that under consideration for Will Levis? Like, did you think that he could handle more than you thought because of his mentality, him being a competitor, or what? But that's something that I'd love to know from Callahan this offseason sometime.
But even if he thought he could handle more, you realize in the beginning of the season he couldn't. He made so many bad decisions in Chicago.
He set himself
Jets.
up for really what the rest of the season was, and it was trying to get back right in his mind.
Right, and nothing really changed towards the end of the season. Will Levis still did Will Levis things. He took the sacks.
That's true.
He made bad decisions. Against the Bengals, he had 3 interceptions. He wasn't learning. You hope that when you draft Cam Ward, or if you draft Cam Ward, you're doing that because on third down last year, Miami was 1st in college football.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
over 56%.
That's really good. What were the Titans? 37.7%.
20th in the NFL.
20th in the NFL.
And that's actually, guys, that's been a problem for the past couple of years with the Titans. Every press conference, I feel like after a game, we were talking about third down and how it needed to get better. So that's something where that category, if indeed they do get Cam Ward in here, it'd be interesting to see how it could improve, just with how he is able to be a problem solver and an improviser in those moments.
And if you compare Cam Ward's numbers to third down, to Ramon's point earlier, 3 interceptions, so kind of comparable to Will Levis, but he had 8 touchdowns.
Yep.
His completion percentage was over 65%, almost 66%. And then he took 6 sacks.
But
he had 23
18.
carries for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
So running the football is pretty good.
And we talked about with Cam, right? There's going to be those down moments, those moments where sometimes you're going to say, oh, no.
Yeah.
But because I feel like there's so many more better moments that it kind of makes it worth
bad moments, they're going to happen.
Yeah.
Bad moments are gone. No, in general, Tom Brady had bad moments. Mahomes has bad moments. It's something I think Will brought up the other day. How can your good moments outweigh what your bad moments are, right? It's just like I spoke about, and I know we're about to come up on this break, but it's like with Ben, when I blocked for Ben. Like Ben would hold on to the ball, and he screwed up our structure as far as the pocket and protection. Absolutely obliterated. And he'd go to the sideline, fellas, that's on me. I'll make it up to you. And you know what happened in the next series? You make it up. Like, that's what we didn't see from a guy like Levis, and that's what I think this fan base is longing for, is the ability to make being down 7 points irrelevant. I don't think I think most people that went to Nissan or watched the Titans on film or on TV, when you went down,
you were down.
Yeah, there was no coming back.
No, unfortunately. When we return, one basketball head coach in the college ranks has an idea to maybe limit transfers from going to other schools, from maybe stepping up to a different school. We'll explain. It's pretty interesting. That's coming up next here on RKW 104.5 The Zone. Wrapping up hour 1 here on this Friday morning with RKW. Before we get to the comments made by Grambling head coach Mickey Joseph about the transfer portal, we do want to go out to Greg in Rhode Island. You're just talking about Cam Ward, maybe what he could improve in the offense year 1 if he indeed comes here. Greg, what do you got for us?
Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, guys. Congrats, Ramon. I heard some recent concerns that Cam Ward might be on the smaller side, and to be honest, I just don't know that much about that. I prefer a quarterback that's a little bigger. One thing I liked about Levis, besides that he couldn't throw the ball, he could actually, run. He was bigger. You liked that about him. He looked more like a Josh Allen. And a lot of the successful quarterbacks right now are a little bigger, like Justin Herbert. Even Mahomes has a little bit of a dad bod. They got some size. But some of the smaller guys struggle. You look at Tua, he's got the concussion issues. Bryce Young has struggled. So can you guys give me some comps about who you think Cam Ward measures up to in the league right now, size-wise?
Yeah, so Greg, it's a good question, and I think you might have the hand size because I think some people are also sold on the hand size.
Yeah, he's a little bit small on the hand size.
He's honestly, he's not that small. He's not like some 6'4" quarterback, but he probably is 6'2" is what he's listed. He's probably 6'1". But he's kind of you said the dad bod. That's almost in a way how I would describe Cam Ward. Cam Ward has actually been extremely durable throughout his entire career. I think he missed maybe 1 game at Washington State.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't think he's that slight is what you say about a guy like him, man.
I think Shedeur might be slighter.
I think he's sturdy for sure, and I don't think he's built like Tua for sure. I think he's a more leaner athlete. Now, here's the part about being a lean athlete that's more muscle. Muscle's more durable too. I don't think you're getting dad bod vibes from what's his name, Cam Ward, man. This has been told to me that he's actually compared a little bit more to Steve McNair. Steve got bigger over his career too and a little bit thicker. So I think he's 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
He's got some size on him. He's been in positions also to where he's taking hits. He understands how to take care of his body too. I don't see him as being fragile. I think is what you were saying. And again, there's the other side of it also where over time he'll grow. I'll say this to Greg that just called too. We had these same conversations about Jaden Daniels.
Oh, well, if Jaden, I was worried about Jaden.
Kyler Murray, he's short. He's
stocky
guy.
as heck.
He's stocky as heck.
But Jaden's lean and long.
Jaden's lean. I don't think you're getting Bryce Young stature out of Cam Ward at all. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I durability is not an issue for me when it comes down to that, unless that changes at the NFL Network. But Greg, I think the Steve McNair comp, I think Steve might have been a little bit taller, but that's about all.
Yeah, no doubt
not
about
by
it.
much.
And here's the other part too. Bo Nix is 6'2", 217. I mean, during the season, that's 6'2" or 6'1", 210.
Sure.
So we're talking about the same type here, and Bo survived just fine too. Again, these dudes were wearing rib protectors, pads, and everything else in between. And plus, here's the other side of it too. I know you probably feel that way with a little battered Titan syndrome, but quarterbacks are taken care of. And I think when you get the number 1 overall pick too, he'll have to take his licks, but at some point, the league like to protect their number 1 guys.
Yeah. He's different in the way too that I think Will Levis is. When Will Levis takes chances, I don't even think he thinks. I think that's another thing that maybe knocked Will Levis in his development throughout college and into the NFL is he never really learned fully how to protect his body when doing the things that he did to extend plays.
Yeah.
Whereas I think other quarterbacks have probably learned a bit better, i.e. Cam Ward, through his career when he has those plays, when he's extending plays, when he's maybe taking chances. He does seem to protect his body more. I think sometimes that's just the way you learn. Unfortunately, Will Levis is way behind on that too.
His mindset, though, I think what Levis has been, he's a football player, so he always shows you that too. There's certain guys that have different mindsets. He was a linebacker, so he played football like that also, from my understanding. Cam Ward's measurables, if they're accurate, is very comparable, except he's 2 inches shorter than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's 6'4" and listed at 219. Cam Ward is 6'2", 219 also. Yeah. So it's a matter of perspective on how you're viewing him. And also, Cam's 219 might be different than Bo Nix. Body structures are just different like that. I don't worry too much about it more than anything.
No, I would not. But great question, Greg, when it comes to a comparison of that. So Mickey Joseph is the Grambling State head coach. He had a idea in terms of the transfer portal. And I think I said this before I said basketball on accident. But Mickey Joseph said that there should be buyouts when players transfer up to bigger programs. He said there needs to be a buyout if they move from where, they're at Grambling State and go G5 or P4. I should get compensation for that. Do you agree with this?
What happens when you get a D1 prospects that comes to Grambling then, too? So I'd be the first, just playing devil's advocate. I'm with him, and I think he's 100% correct. Well, I think he's mostly right on the idea that this could happen. He's basically saying if we give this guy our meal plan, if we give this guy our training, we spend time recruiting him, that's an investment. It's also part of just the process in general, too. But these guys have the opportunity to outplay their talent level that they're at Grambling State or Austin P, respectfully, MTSU, wherever you may be at. And I get it. It's smaller programs that are saying, y'all are robbing us blind. We can't compete. And if I can't compete, then I lose my job as a coach. 100% understand where that coach is coming from. I don't know, and I highly doubt that there could be feeder systems from, a smaller school to a bigger school. But I do think there might need to be some type of compensation. The way the NFL give compensatory picks. Okay. When a guy leaves, right? Okay, who is it? I think it's Philly that are losing a bunch of guys to free agency this year. Well, they're also getting draft picks back because of it to stay competitive. They were original pick of yours, and just because you lost them, you get this back. I agree there may need to be something. But until you guys, not mentioned, you guys, all of NCAA coaches get to a point to where you can come to an agreement on a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement to hash out all of this stuff as far as revenue, as far as prospects, as far as budgets, as far as sharing of money and everything else, then the other big coaches are going to continually do this. You are in between a brick and a hard place. But I say again, I sympathize with those coaches at those levels because MTSU can be just taken to the woodshed. Belmont can be taken. All of these coaches are pretty much feeder systems with no payoff in the end. But you also have the NCAA not only failed the athletes, but they failed your schools and your programs too, coaches. Like I said, the way the NFL works, you lose a guy that goes to another team, you get a pick back.
Yep.
These coaches lose their big-time prospects. They potentially lose their jobs. It sucks, but y'all need to go to, I think it's Bloomington, Indiana, and go talk to the NCAA.
I agree. There needs to be something of a meeting of sorts that at some point in the near future, like you just said, they get together and they find out what exactly they want to do. It just feels like everyone's out for their own.
They should be. Now. That's how it's always been.
Right.
It's just that now, with so much tape, so much film, it's the reason coaches aren't having spring games. This guy go balls out. I can look at a roster and see. Well, I ain't gonna say that. That sounds too just Nostradamus.
Predicting the future.
You can see when a backup is going to transfer before the portal's even open. You just know that guy's leaving 100%. And that's just how the game is. And you invest in it. The thing that sucks is Grambling doesn't have the budget. They spend a lot of money recruiting also. And for them to just get taken like that sucks. So I sympathize with that coach.
We are wrapping up hour one here on RKW 104.5 The Zone. When we start hour two, guess what? It is Colorado Pro Day. So who is going to be there from the Titans watching Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, and who is not? And is that telling us something? We'll get to that coming up next here on RKW 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Secure Lawn. Good people, man. The weather is turning, man. We've had a lot of rain, so it's time to go ahead and get your yard together as much as you possibly can right now. Secure Lawn is also the company you need to be a part of and have them service you. Here's the thing about Secure Lawn, too. They want to make sure you just have no weeds and you have the best lawn in the neighborhood. They don't cut your grass or trim your shrubs and bushes around your house. Absolutely not. They are only worried about providing a prime service to you, and that's making sure their team members are properly trained and prepared to make sure you have the best grass in the neighborhood. Again, they are family owned and operated and are local. They've been here in Middle Tennessee, serving all of Middle Tennessee for over 20 years. Listen, you don't last in this industry if you're not good, and they are real good. They're punctual and on time with everything that you ask them to do. So go ahead and get a head start on your yard, whether it be residential, commercial, even athletic fields, by calling Secure Lawn at 615-893-8455 or go to securelawn.com.
7 o'clock from 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Raiders and quarterback Geno Smith agreed on a 2-year extension worth up to $85.5 million. The Raiders acquired Smith for a third-round draft pick from Seattle back on March 7th after setting a career high in passing yards with 4,320. The 34-year-old two-time Pro Bowler reunites with first-year Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. The Cardinals and tight end Trey McBride agreed to a 4-year, $76 million extension, making McBride now the highest-paid tight end in NFL history, surpassing Travis Kelce. The second-round pick in 2022 is coming off his first Pro Bowl season after setting a career high with 111 receptions and 1,146 yards. The Final Four is tomorrow, starting with Florida taking on Auburn at 5:09 Central in a first-ever SEC head-to-head matchup in the Final Four. The Gators beat the Tigers back on February 8th, 90-81. Then at 7:49, it's Houston taking on Duke. The Cougars and Blue Devils have met once in their history in the Elite Eight last year, where Duke won 54-51. Both games are on CBS. The Chattanooga Mocs took home their first ever NIT championship game last night in an 85-84 overtime thriller, upsetting number 1 seed UC Irvine. And in case you missed it yesterday, our own Ramon Foster was announced as a new color analyst for Tennessee Vol football for the Volunteer Network, alongside first-year Vols play-by-play announcer Mike Keith, formerly of Titans Radio. A new era is on Rocky Top. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour 2 here on a Friday. It's RKW, and we are coming out blazing. That's because we got an announcement. If you missed it yesterday, our own Ramon Foster is indeed the new color analyst for Vol football. And folks, he ain't leaving us. He's not leaving us. Keep your powder dry, folks. Don't worry. Don't shed a tear. He's going to be right here every morning on RKW.
Yes, indeed.
So it's 2 for 1. We call it a 2 for 1 special
no
here
in
Nashville. Yes. Justin Hawkins doing a great job doing the opening there in terms of our sports update. I'm Kayla Anderson. We'll bowling out until Monday. And yeah, we're having fun on the show. We'd love for you to call in if you want to give a little congrats to our guy, Ramon Foster. 615-737-1045 is he is adding to his resume.
No doubt about
Bulking
it.
it up.
Keep stacking, Kayla. That's what we do. Keep adding infinity stones as many times as we can.
Yes.
I didn't imagine 5 years ago now.
Isn't that
It'll be
wild?
5 years for me in August being here at 104.5 The Zone. Most appreciative of that, too, man. Shout out to, by the way, Paul Mason, our boss, and also Allison Warren, our big boss, too, for they always have allowed us to do other things like this. And always
juggle.
Yeah, absolutely, juggling. We got a lot of folks at the station doing multiple things across every show. Buck just got back from Florida. Savage is in San Antonio right now. Savage got the same sentiments. I can't wait to get him on, too. He's got the same.
He's at 8:20 today, guys.
He is. He moved up an hour today. Mike Keefe is at 9:20 today also. I'm not sure if Mike's been on since he
was when he got announced.
When he got announced.
Right,
that was it. Sure was. Yes,
remember?
we got him on that Friday. Sure did, because I was out that day, but we got him on. Sure did. But Savage has the same sentiments as Charles Barkley about San Antonio. And I cannot wait to get his opinion live about how he feels about the city of San Antonio, man.
We will look forward to that. So we have Pro Day today for Colorado. And by the way, real quick, we got to give a shout out to Scooter's Coffee. I don't know even how I passed over that.
This morning.
Both of us have our cups today. I know the chat's already been blazing in terms of what they've tried out recently at Scooter's Coffee, because it's not just coffee, although if you do want to check one of the locations, they're in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. You can also download that Scooter's Coffee mobile app today and order ahead. You're going to save $2 off your first mobile. They've got everything there, good eats, good drinks. We are coming up with our own Ramon, Kayla, and Will drinks. to be determined.
Yes,
the
we
date,
are.
but it's coming soon, so be prepared. It's going to be a competition.
I can't wait.
So for Colorado, though, going back to that pro day today, Moan, and this is coming from Teron Davenport, our good friend at ESPN. He was talking about who will be present there today because, of course, it will not include Chad Brinker and head coach Brian Callahan. However, in attendance today for Colorado's pro day to see Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, the Titans will have DC Denard Wilson, GM Mike Borgonzi, wide receiver coach Tyke Tolbert, and added to that will be OC Nick Holtz per Teron Davenport. Any big deal that Callahan and Brinker will not be at the pro day?
No, because I thought it's been reported, too, that they're supposed to have a private workout with them, too.
Yeah.
Like, he had the 30 visit.
The 9th.
Yeah, from my understanding. So April 9th, there will also be a workout. And Shedeur is going to have a lot of people there. And here's the thing, too. If it was reported to me correctly, I don't think the Giants were at, or the Giants brass were at Cam's pro day.
No.
Or it was either them or Cleveland.
It was just their owner, or sorry, just their GM, I believe.
GM, but everybody wasn't in attendance for Cam. So
Correct.
This is the games you play because I think Cam had a workout with them also a couple of days after the fact. So this is a big nothing burger as it pertains to Chad or Borgonzi not being there. What I will like to know is in the private workout, because it was reported by the Eastern Freeze that Miss Amy Adams-Strong did go down to South Beach and met with Cam Ward. So that was huge. That, and then also, too, as far as everything just being on social media, the Titans social media team was down there with Cam, and I wonder will the same things happen in Colorado and Boulder also. So it's all optics. I say this, too. There needs to be the same amount of importance for both of these guys.
Sure.
Because, again, they have to vet everything about it. They're still, a week and a half, 2 weeks away from actually narrowing in on who they want to go
Kelly
get.
said 2 weeks,
2 weeks
this week.
Yeah, he said that to Kevin Carter.
Yep.
So, and we're chopping down days now, so they're closer to knowing who they want. Shedeur, I think, on the 9th probably, lock that up as it pertains to what the Titans want to do at that point. But they will, I still think, be very, very detailed in their approach to doing this.
Is there anything in your mind that they could do, and more so, I guess, Shedeur Sanders could do to change the Titans' brass minds at this point of the process?
Well, we're the ones projecting that the Titans are all in on him. So, like, as far as what he needs to do is just be him. And I know what you mean, but, like, is there anything that he can do to change? Like, I feel like the rest of the national media has said Shedeur's number 2, right? And the Titans may still have them guys 1-1 as it pertains to how they view them. So Shedeur needs to go be himself. I heard Shedeur speak yesterday in an interview. I was listening to somebody break Shedeur down, and he crushes it. He does. His confidence comes out.
Absolutely.
He jokes a little bit, of course, and, he references his father a time or two.
Yeah.
And it was funny listening to him. He said he told his dad, you had a good run, but I'm no longer yours anymore. It was like, you did good by getting me to this point. And it was good to hear him say that and kind of start to, the conversation public is separating himself from Deion Sanders, his father, his coach. Well, his coach. He'll never separate from being his dad, but his coach. And that, to me, was super unique to hear him acknowledge that, understand what's in front of him as it pertains to how he has to now become a pro. His father, I don't think, will have much say-so over Shedeur. And unless, again, some media types ask him questions about Shedeur, and Deion's going to always voice his opinion. He's very prideful about his kids, too. He's very much excited about what Shedeur and Shiloh and all of them have done for him. So, Shedeur just need to be him. Sling it the way he does. Be accurate. Everybody labels him as the accurate pocket quarterback. Show that.
So there was an interesting conversation this morning on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe that intros into this show. And I thought it was actually somewhat realistic as well when it comes to Shedeur Sanders and where he might go and what might be the best opportunity for him to be a successful quarterback. And they brought up possibly going to Vegas still. And Geno just got signed to a 2-year contract. That was announced yesterday for the Raiders, which, of course, Pete Carroll is now there and reunites with him. But they were having this conversation about if they indeed liked a guy like Shedeur Sanders and wanted to get ahead of, getting their quarterback when Geno's done, why not take somebody like Shedeur if he falls to that spot and be able to sit him for a couple years and be able to develop him when you can't do that anymore in the NFL? I actually would look at that if I saw Shedeur and said, I think Shedeur could be the guy moving forward in the future. Yeah. I would jump all over that, especially having a guy like Geno Smith there. I'd be all about that because we don't see that anymore in the NFL.
No doubt. And the cool thing about Geno Smith being in Vegas, too, is, one, the extension that he got kind of locks him up to let Shedeur grow this year, next year. But Geno's personality and who he is, from the folks I know that know him personally, he's not going to be worried about the noise that Shedeur brings. And that could work out for him, too. And Pete Carroll has done a good job of quarterbacks like that, too, as it pertains to how he lets them grow up. Russell Wilson turned into a guy, under him. But it was also allowed by a really good running game and a monster defense. And Pete Carroll is going to bring that to the table. So it sounds good, but it's, of course, how do you, as the Vegas Raiders, are continually trying to build yourself up and win right now also, give up potentially a first round.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
It's that side of it, too. But again, if it's the slide that everybody thinks that Shedeur is going to have, Vegas can just sit. They can wait.
You're like, you literally hit the jackpot in my eyes.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know Genty's been tied there. Obviously, to possibly going to the Raiders. Which,
get a nice running back in the second quarter.
Beast.
Second round.
Yeah, that guy's a beast.
Genty's been the guy labeled there.
Yeah, he's been tied there a lot.
Okay.
Which wouldn't be a bad thing either. So, always just trying to think about, though, the best way to, if you have an opportunity to develop a quarterback, we always complain about it. And
Pete's always had that type of back to him, because immediately you say that, and I was like, why would Pete Carroll want Ashton Genty? Well, Marshawn Lynch. That is the same angry runner that he's had. And I know he would bring in Marshawn Lynch to somewhat mentor him, man. Golly.
I know.
That could be dangerous.
So that could really definitely be a possibility for them. So it'll be interesting to see what a lot of these teams do. We're getting closer, guys. We're like 3 weeks out. When we return, our good friend, Brent Hubbs of VolQuest, we're going to change it up a little, talk a little college football, talk a little Vols, because guess what? Brent Hubbs and Ramon Foster, they're going to be teammates here in the near future. We'll get to all that coming up here on RKW on 104.5 The Zone.
One word that comes to mind when you think about Genesis Diamonds: integrity. This is the company built on a solid foundation with total transparency and honesty. This is why they don't have commission salespeople, all right? They pay their employees, not you. So they aren't under any pressure to sell you, and you aren't under any pressure to buy either. They share with you the long-held secrets of the diamond industry, teaching you the tricks to maximize the value of your purchase, and they show you how to buy like a dealer buys. Another thing at Genesis Diamonds, they don't play the pricing game either. Unlike other jewelers, they work on a very small margin. They don't mark up to mark down prices. You know that little trick right there. They offer the best value price every day. When they do have a sale, it's a real deal, not a phony one. We're lucky to have Genesis Diamonds here, and they are not another big box chain store at all. They're locally owned, but with the international connections that guarantee no middleman pricing on every diamond. And don't forget this, only Genesis has the top bridal designer brands that everyone wants. They were handpicked by all the top designers because only Genesis meets the highest standards in quality and customer care that these designers demand. You will love the experience there. Trust me. Genesis Diamond, they're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. It's Ramon Foster for Two Rivers Ford, man, and I got a huge announcement from Two Rivers Ford. Just in, Two Rivers Ford is now offering employee pricing for everyone. This means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get. They don't do things like add expensive accessories or tack on service packages to increase the price of the vehicles. No, not at all. Two Rivers Ford is upfront and honest every single time, and now they're offering you employee pricing. So get over there. There's no better time to buy American, and there's no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. They're locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Home of the non-commissioned sales team, and now home and to employee pricing for everyone. From America for America, Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Welcome back into RKW on this Friday, a fabulous Friday. I almost was going to do some karaoke because I
don't even know who this
song.
is, but this is good, especially when Hubs is coming on. Turn it up just a bit. Let me hear his voice.
Move.
Brooks and Dunn.
There it is. Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, yeah.
I was not going to guess that. I was going to say Tim McGraw again.
Brent Hubbs probably just rolling his eyes right now. Brent Hubbs of VolQuest joining us this morning. And not only just Brent Hubbs of VolQuest, but Brent Hubbs, who Ramon Foster is now teammates with. Congrats to the Vol Network team of Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, Jason Swain, and our good friend Brent Hubbs. I am sure you've been loving the fact that you were going to be on the airwaves this morning with Moan.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And, here's the thing I've learned this morning. First of all, let me say this. Thoughts and prayers to everybody in the mid-state. I know it's been a rough 3 days or so with all the severe weather, and prayers for everybody for health and safety and the cleanup. And you're in our thoughts and prayers, and I know it's been rough. So just hang in there. As for Ramon and being a teammate, I'm listening to that bumper music coming back, Kayla, and I just can't help but think of how much work I have to do on the road to teach Ramon and to educate Ramon on music, and so it's going to be a challenge. It's something I'm looking forward to, but man, I got to roll up my sleeves and go to work to help Ramon out here on the road.
Oh man, we are looking forward to that. He's going to come back a changed man every morning.
Hey, Hubs, there's going to be more music conversation than it is football. So I hope I got Apple Music, I got Spotify, I got Pandora also. So whatever you say we putting on, I'm riding with, okay? Just so you know. Yeah. I didn't know those Brooks and Duns. I need you to tell me what I'm listening to, okay?
Ramon is going to be one hell of a playlist, brother.
Yes.
I promise you that, my friend.
That's all I can think is here I am ready to play some Young Jeezy and JC, and Hubs no, sir. Let's put on old Kenny Chesney right now. That's what we're doing.
Hubs, how cool is that, though, just to know, somebody who, when he was a young man coming into Tennessee, you got to know well, and now here you are on Saturdays going to be on the call with that young man who's now a grown man.
I know.
Well, it's awesome, and it makes me feel like the old dude, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But in all seriousness, and I've said this in a couple of different places, and people are like, "What excites you most about doing this?" And what excites me the most is the passion that this broadcast is going to have, because I know Mike, I know the preparation, I know how it's going to go about, I know how detailed it's going to be. But I also know the passion that it has. And to know Ramon I still consider him from Ripley. I think that's an accurate statement, right, Ramon?
Oh, Ripley High School, Henning, Tennessee is where I live.
Yeah, okay. There you go. So I still call him Ripley Ramon. But to know that young man and what it meant for him to get to sign with the University of Tennessee, to play at the University of Tennessee, succeed, go on and have a terrific NFL career, and then to come back and start a second career. And the thing about Ramon and Jason Swain that I'm rambling here, but I'm so most pleased with is they're not just former players dabbling in broadcasting. They are broadcasters who are former players. And I do think there's a different mentality, and I think that mentality will benefit the Vol Network and will benefit this broadcast greatly. So I'm elated to get to hang out with Ramon, but more importantly, I'm elated to get to provide a service to the Tennessee fan wherever they are, whether it's in the stadium or in the field or at work or whatever. That's going to be something they're going to be really, really proud of. So it's going to be fun.
I appreciate that, Hubs, man. That means a lot, man. We talked a little bit yesterday just on the journey to get to this point, man, and the team and what it means to actually work for the Vols. And you mentioned that. I saw Swain said also. On Swain's side of things, man, I know a lot of people probably wondering what's his role going to be and how he's going to go about it, too. I've always thought so high of him, man, as it pertains to the guy he is, but also how much of a pro he was early on. I think when I met him in 2004, he was more reserved, definitely one of those guys that took his craft serious, man, and really laid down some good stuff at the University of Tennessee, too. So I'm excited just as you are to get to work with him.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Having done the pregame show with him for the last few years, he's got great knowledge. He interacts with fans so well and is I joke with him. He could run for office on game day Saturdays at Gate 21. I think he would win. I mean, I call him the man of the people because he's very comfortable around everyone, and it's going to be fun. Like I said, I think it's a group of guys that are going to work really hard and be really prepared. I think when it's time to have fun and kind of let your hair down, so to speak, we're going to have a great time because we're all friends and know each other. And then when it's time to button it up and go to work, and I've been around Mike well enough to know there's a switch that flips.
Yeah.
And when that switch flips, we'll all be ready to go and do our part to give the listener everything we can give them that's going on in that moment that they can enjoy what's happening.
We're supposed to have Mike later at 9:20 Central Time, and I'll ask you this. I won't bring it up to him, but that is one of the things I figured out with Titans Radio and working with Rhett and him and Philip and Brad and everybody else that was a part of it was people ask me, what was it like working with Mike? And you've been around him for a few months now in Knoxville, if I'm not mistaken. I said, it's fun, it's cool, but I said it's like a game being with him and the radio crew. Like the moment it hits 30 minutes before kickoff, like everybody gets quiet, everybody's focusing on the task at hand, and you deliver the goods like it's a friggin' football game, Hubs. Have you gotten that from Mike before?
Well, I started getting it in 1994 when he was doing sports talk. Yeah. And it's, you know, I have been blessed in my life, and it's the irony that everything has come full circle to me reminds me of how big of a blessing it is. I had the pleasure of meeting Mike in 1993, and it changed my career path 180 degrees. I never gave any thought to radio. I never gave any thought to being on air. I was always going to be a behind-the-scenes guy, and he completely altered my universe in terms of what I wanted to do. And he put me on a path of success in this business. And then I had the opportunity to meet Shannon Terry in 97 and then go to work for him in 01. And that changed the trajectory of what I do with the website because he was a visionary. And both of those guys were visionary in their craft, and they bet on themselves, and they 100% believed in themselves. And to be working with both of them again is just almost surreal in some ways. But Mike absolutely has those moments, man. Ramon, I mean, you could be at lunch and you could be hanging out with him, and it's almost like he looks at his watch and it's like, okay, it's go time. Yeah. And he was like that daily when he did a sports talk show. Like there was a window before you went on air that it was time to get locked in and get dialed in. And he's like that, obviously, in a game broadcast, and he'll always be that way in a game. And I think that's what makes him elite in his craft and what he does. And I could spend hours talking about the lessons that he has given me in this world, both as in the business and both just as a human being. And to be hanging out with him again is absolutely awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. I know I better ratchet up and go to work and prepare like nobody's business, and I'll do that because I know what it means to get to be a part of this broadcast, and obviously the Vol Network's very special to me. For
sure. All right, now to official business, the football side
Absolutely.
Of things, man.
Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. Who's been, I guess, the belle of the ball so far as or caught your eyes? Have you heard about guys in this spring practice? I know they got their final scrimmage this upcoming Monday night, man. Who's kind of turned some heads so far?
For me, it's those young receivers a little bit because there's been so much emphasis on that and that position group and what will it look like. And I don't think the veterans have done poorly at all. I mean, I think Braylon Staley, Mike Matthews, Chris Brazzell have had solid springs. But you wondered where Travis Smith was. You wondered where Rodarius Jackson was. Because the reality is, Ramon, you're not going to play with just three.
Right.
You've got to have help. And there's a lot of pressure on those young guys, and there's a lot of pressure on getting those young guys ready. Kelsey Pope's, he's got to get help, and to do that, that's where his help's coming from. And so I think Travis Smith has made some plays, which is, caught your eye. I think Rodarius Jackson has been more consistent than anybody could imagine that he would be this early in his career. There's a long way to go for them to be ready in August, but you feel much better about where you are the back half of this spring in terms of the amount of load of offense they've been able to mentally grasp and build off of with each spring practice. That gives you encouragement there. I think the freshman DeJuan Morris at running back has been really dynamic at times. He's got a long ways to go to understand what you do as a pass protector. The good news for him is he doesn't have to step in and be any kind of guy, right? Like you can supplement and bring him in at different points, and you could almost specialty package him to a degree if you wanted to. So, but I think he's clearly been dynamic with the ball in his hands. Those two freshmen or those two transfer guards have been important. I think where David Sanders is right now compared to where he was to start practice is exactly what you were hoping would happen. He's built in stacking days on the practice field, and I think that's important. Defensively, I think the fact that Tyree Weathersby flashed a little bit in the scrimmage gives you some hope.
Real quick, I told you I had a conversation with Coach Gardner, and Coach Ayers was around too at the time, and they asked me, who stood out to him, and I mentioned Weathersby, and you could tell those two looked at each other and felt like his progress was real to them after I dropped his name to him.
Yeah, and he's the guy who obviously had a hip injury that cost him a year. Last year was still trying to get back into it. I mean, he was still a freshman a year ago. And leaving that playoff game in Columbus, Ohio, I think, all those guys are looking at decisions at that point, right? Am I staying? Am I going? Or what am I going to do? I think Tyree Weathersby never gave thought to leaving. I think his exit meeting with Rodney Garner was very clear on what he needed to do and what the expectation was for him. And I think he's put his head down with confidence in his body and has gone to work. So I think that was a nice step for him last Monday night. Can he build on it to finish? He's got all the tools. That's a guy they were so excited about as a freshman before the hip injury occurred. I think he's gaining his confidence back, and it was big for him to take another step in that confidence by making some plays in the scrimmage on Monday night. I love Edward Spillman and what he does from a physical standpoint. In the back end, those freshmen are heads are swimming right now, but I think Ty Redmond can play athletically. I think there's nothing to suggest that he can't. It's a matter of putting him in the right positions and him continuing to learn and progress in what they need to do. I think they like what they have in those young guys. They're just still a ways away from being able to help them.
Brent Hubbs, our good friend of VolQuest, joining us as he does every time on Fridays at 7:20. Brent, when it comes to Nico Iamaleava, obviously we know he is the guy. A two-parter to this question. What have you liked with him early on in spring in terms of the leadership? But also, what have you seen in the backup in Jake Merklinger?
Well, let me start with Merklinger first because, everybody knows Nico's the guy, right? But Merklinger, I think, is a great story right now. A year ago, when you watched Jake Merklinger throw the ball, it felt labored. It felt like he was having to sort of throw his whole body into it. And mechanically, there were some things they were trying to clean up. And then they made a radical shift with him and how he gripped the football. And it's very much like taking a shooter in basketball and completely retooling his shot.
Wow.
Because, Merklinger has spent his entire life throwing a football a certain way and a certain grip. And now you're telling him, hold it differently, do it differently. And the feeling was that he would gain velocity and that he would not necessarily have to gain a bunch of muscle mass in his body to be able to throw the ball further. But because he would be better mechanically with this grip and with some motion things. And it's taken a while. There's been a lot of painful days in doing that to muscle memory and retrain everything that you've known. But I think you're seeing the fruits of that right now. I think he's throwing the ball. You could see it even in, routes versus air periods in practice. You could see the ball just comes out of his hands much better. It's livelier. It's got more velocity. It's got more accuracy. I think he used his legs in the scrimmage. I think he's playing with more confidence right now. He's not going to beat out Nico, okay? But when you talk about who the backup is, I think he's separated himself, that you feel comfortable that he's going to be the backup, which means George has got all the time he needs to develop and work on some of the similar things and some tweaks here and there, and obviously the physical development of his body over the course of the next year or so, which I think is a blessing and a good thing. As for Nico, I think it's just control. The thing about Nico is he's never going to run up and get in anybody's face, and he's never going to be that kind of guy, but he's got command and he's got control. And the challenge for Nico as a leader has been, hey, make the 10 guys around you better. elevate their game through your play and your actions. And I think Nico's taken that to heart. I think he's trying to do that. I don't think it's the most comfortable thing for him, but I think he's growing in that. But he's clearly got an even better command of this offense being in it for a second year. The second year of Josh Heupel's offense, I don't care what position you're playing, there's a real jump, whether it's running back, receiver, tight end, offensive line, or quarterback. There's a real jump from year one to year two after you've played that system for a year. And when I mean play against competition, not just practice it, but actually play against competition with it. And I think you'll see a better Nico this fall.
Brent Hubs with us this morning. Vol question on 3. Hubs, on that side of things, too, as they close out spring, of course, transfer portal open up. And also, when can you expect the Vols start to pull in some of these 2026 commitments also? Is this that time of year, too?
You're starting to move into that window in terms of 26 commitments. Most of that's going to happen in June and July because guys want to take official visits. You're trying to set the stage as much as you can with those guys and get them on campus as much as you can. There'll be a guy, here and there around the country that will commit, but a lot of that work is during official visit season, which is now June instead of January. So you're going to see most of that work take place here in the next 2.5 months. You mentioned the portal opening up. The question is going to be, does anybody on this current squad leave? And here's the reality. I don't know anything, but here's the reality that everybody should remember. Everybody's eligible to leave. Even a guy that got here in January. Anybody around the country can leave at any point. So you could see guys around the country that enrolled at midterm, and they go through spring practice, and then they're out. And, they don't get their bags really unpacked, but they've decided they move on to somewhere else. I mean, you have the ability to do that, which is the maddening part of the transfer portal. Now, the positive part of it is if you feel like you have a hole, you feel like you're somewhere that you need help, maybe you didn't think you needed or didn't know you needed, you can go look for somebody in the portal. I don't think the talent level in the portal in the spring is near what it is in the winter, but if you have a real stopgap or a real need for a stopgap, you can find that in the spring. I wonder if Tennessee doesn't kick some tires on interior defensive linemen. And here's my reasoning why. One, you got 3 guys you believe in. Rodney Gardner wants to play at least 4. He really likes to play 5. But the 5th guy is kind of that development guy, younger guy. A couple of years ago, it was Dalvin Hobbs. Even last year, to a degree, it was Hobbs. So now he's got Bryson Eason. He's got Jackson Moy. He's got Hobbs. Those are his 3 mainstays, experienced guys who have developed under him and are grown men in the college game. Where's his 4th guy? You were hoping it was going to be Jamal Wallace, the junior college player they signed a couple of years ago, but he's not practiced all spring. I don't know where he's at health-wise, when he's going to be back or what his status is going to be. I love Nathan Robinson. I love everything about Nathan Robinson. I like his game. I like his size. What I don't like about Nathan Robinson is he's got more fiberglass on him year-round than anybody in terms of having a cast. He's just not been able to stay healthy. It's not his fault. It's just he's had a hard time staying healthy, which is a bit of a red flag. I think Ethan Utley has a chance to be a really good player at Tennessee. Is he physically ready right now? How much more weight does he need to gain? You got Isaiah Campbell, who's bigger. You like his size. But those are 17, 18-year-old dudes. And Ramon, nobody knows better than you. It's different in there. And if you could get an older veteran guy maybe to where he's your 4th, and then Utley and Campbell are kind of that 5th guy that you sprinkle in and develop as the year goes along and those guys play, that may be a more ideal scenario than saying to Isaiah Campbell or Ethan Utley, hey, starting with the Syracuse game, I need 25 snaps out of you a game. Are they ready? Are they going to be physically ready to do that? That's why Rodney Gardner makes good money. That's why he's been in this business for a long, long time, and I'll leave it at that. That puts him in a position to know what to do. So we'll keep an eye on that when the portal opens.
Also on the portal, it's nothing official, but it seems like there's a bat signal being sent up, man. It seems like Felix Akpara is at least alluding to something because you got Chaz and a couple other guys look like they're posting goodbye emojis or something like that. Have you heard anything as it pertains to Felix Akpara hopping into the portal?
Well, here's the thing with Felix, and Felix is like everybody else in the country in that his people are getting phone calls. They're getting phone calls every day. And what does it mean? where's he going to go? What's he going to do? I mean, I think if you're Tennessee, you got to be prepared, and you got to be able to make a shift if you need to in any direction that you need to go. Now, I mean, to this point, Felix has not done anything, and the longer you go, you think the better it is. I mean, he obviously has not been in a rush to hey, I hate it here. I got to get out on day one. But what we're seeing around the country in basketball right now in terms of the amount of money and dollars that are being thrown around is pretty crazy. It is pretty wild out there in both the men's and the women's side of things. And so, I mean, people's phones ring every day. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Tennessee is putting all of their efforts and all of their work that they can get into trying to get the Greenville kid, Jacoby Gillespie from Maryland. There's a lot of focal point there, and they want to get him in the boat and try to get that done without him taking visits anywhere else. I think Tennessee's moving in the right direction there, but yeah, I mean, it's head on a swivel right now, Ramon, with your current roster. It's head on a swivel with guys that you're out there, you think you're in pretty good shape with, and then maybe they do a 180 and head elsewhere. So, I mean, it is it's something that changes by the hour, not by the day. It's not different in the morning than it is in the afternoon. It's different at 8. It's different at 9:30 than it is at 8:30, and that's just the world we live in, particularly in basketball right now.
Man,
he is Brent Hubs. I was just going to say of the Vol Network, but he is Brent Hubs of the Vol Network with Ramon Foster. Of course, we'll have Mike Keith on later in the show, but also of On 3. Always enjoy all of your insight, Brent, and we'll see you and hear from you next week.
All right, sounds great, guys. Have a great weekend. Ramon, be kind to me with the boss man here coming up a little later on the show, okay?
He said, boss man, I got you. I got you, Hubs. We're good. Just have the playlist ready for the rides, man.
Oh, trust me. I will start sending you summer playlists to listen to. You're gonna be maddened. I mean, you're gonna be like, oh, geez, I got to go this way, because you have. It's not just things I like. You have to have an education on the progression to those points as well. So. Get your study notes out and get yourself ready, my friend.
Already got some Blake Shelton suggestions in our YouTube chat, so let's get it going in the right direction, Hubs.
All right, that will do it, my man. I appreciate you guys. Kayla, have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too, Hubs. That is Brent Hubs of VolQuest. Always enjoy everything he brings to the table. Good stuff there. When we wrap up hour 2, man, Cincinnati just can't get out of its own way. We'll talk about what the vice president of the Bengals said recently about the Trey Hendrickson deal or no deal. We'll talk about that next, coming up here on RKW 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Kayla Anderson and Ramon Foster for Window Nation. April, it's a great time to spruce up your house once this weather dies down, of course, especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on right now. You can pay nothing until 2027. And if you buy a house full of windows, they're going to include a free entry door too. Moan, that's a heck of a deal.
Kayla, it's the best deal going on right now from the best company doing windows. Again, replace those old drafty windows with energy efficient ones from Window Nations, man. Their windows frequently outperform and outlast ones from expensive guys, man. And Kayla just told you can save money every month on your heating and cooling. And right now, y'all know it's about to get hotter in Tennessee. So keep that cold air up, man. Reach out to the people that we trust. Kayla just told you this sale ends April 30th. Schedule a fast, free estimate now from the pros at Window Nation at 866-90 Nation, or you can go online at windownation.com.
Wrapping up hour 2 here on RKW on a Friday morning. Of course, thanks again to Brent Hubs of VolQuest, brought to you by Ascend Credit Union.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we love having him on. And if you did not catch that, you can always catch the podcast. We will also put it up on YouTube as well. Always gets lots of traction, as always, because he has some good insider stuff. Let's get out to AB because he has a special shout out. We have had this in all of our updates this morning with Justin Hawkins, but a little bit of a congratulations to the Chattanooga Mocs. AB, what's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call this morning. I just want to give a shout out to my alma mater, Chattanooga Mocs, winning the NIT,
yes,
which is a pretty big deal. I just want to say it was a great run. Exciting tournament. Started out with a triple overtime game against MTSU. Double-digit comeback against Bradley in the quarters, and now they tied it up,
everyone saw the finish last night, I hope. It was crazy. So shout out to the Mocs, and, hope you guys have a great weekend.
Same
Thanks
to you,
so much,
man.
AB. Congratulations to your Mocs. And, getting the overtime victory in the NID championship yesterday, 85-84 over UC Irvine, representing the Southern Conference.
Absolutely, man. And UT Chat's alum, most famous alum, one of them, Terrell Owens, was on site too for that game, man. Big time win for the Mocs, man. From east to west, man. Teams are doing well in the state
representing
of Tennessee.
Tennessee, right?
And that's a huge win too. That helps springboard you into the next season too. But not only just that, it's another championship. Like, UT Chat has had some first rounders in football as of late, some other draft picks that have come through, and to see their basketball program do that, and I know it's the NIT. No, screw that. That is a big tournament.
It's a really good tournament.
That is the best of the best, man, when it comes to the rest of what didn't make it into the NCAA tournament, March Madness, man. That is just as cool. Chattanooga went 29-9 on the season, man. Beat UC Irvine. That was, hey, keep doing it over there in Chat.
Keep doing your thing, man.
UT Chat, baby.
Man and team. It was his team.
Absolutely.
He's got to represent his team there. But, really good stuff there. Thanks for calling in. Deserves the flowers, indeed, does that program. So we were talking about this a little bit. We talk off air in our chat. We call it our group chat. And I know a lot of people got to this yesterday. We did not get to this, but I think the headline has been wild in terms of Cincinnati over the offseason on clearly paying their two big wide receivers in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but still not coming to a deal with pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, who has led the league in terms of sacks. At least last year he led the league, but has been really good in terms of just the consistency and the productivity of him as a pass rusher. So ESPN's Ben Baby asked at the owners' meetings this past week in, Palm Beach, right?
Yeah,
Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
He asked about the contract extension, new contract, I should say, and if there's anything that has come about. And this is what Catherine Blackburn, vice president of the Bengals, said. She said, I think he should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. She goes on to say, I think some of it is on him to be happy at some point. And if he's not, that's what holds it up sometimes. So, it takes him to say yes to something. And also, we have all the respect for him in the world. He's been a great player. We are happy to have him. And so maybe we'll find a way to get something to work. We're going to just see where it goes. Hendrickson then was on the Pat McAfee show after that, and he thought on April Fool's, that's when this all came out, he honestly thought it was an April Fool's joke. He had to go to his agent. He had to reach out to make sure that this was not a joke. He's been asking and talking about this for at least a couple years with the Bengals, and he said he's barely getting any communication.
He is, man. This is hearing that be said. Who was it? By the Cincinnati
Catherine
Bengals.
Blackburn,
by their brass, man. It was cringe.
It's like Bush League.
It was very cringe, man, to hear him. She pretty much said, he needs to be happy at some point. If he's not, that's on him. And that's not the case, because Trey Hendrickson comes in after that with his comment. Like you say, he went on the Pat McAfee show. Shout out to Pat.
Yep.
And he went, we're on the DN National Football League street. The market value for that is going up like it did for wide receivers last year. He's pretty much saying the wide receivers that you just paid, that market went up, which is very fair. He says, where I fit in that road is all up to discretion. We're willing to talk about those things. With the market continuing to go up, I'm not going to apologize for that, because I've been basically asking for the same thing every year, to be solidified as a Cincinnati Bengal for life.
Yep.
He wants to be there. He wants to be paid. He's clearly come to you guys asking you to pay him what he's worth and what the market suggests, specifically for his production. He's been over 17.5 sacks the last 2 years. You brought him in as a free agent. He is a stalwart as it pertains to your defense, too.
And a good guy in the locker room.
An ambassador.
Right.
Big time. And he's right about this. I know a lot of people side with ownership in the NFL. NFL fans are loyal to the ownership. And she's right. Sometimes you might just take what we give you. But it's his side that I agree with. It's not my fault. that the DN market has gone up. I didn't ask for the market to go up. All I've done is honor my contract and produce for you guys. So because of that, he deserves to be paid what the market suggests. And the market suggests he's an over $20 million guy now. That is, I don't want to call it bad business because you run your business the way you want to. That's just an embarrassing take for somebody in the Cincinnati's front office to kind of drop that.
Right. We gave them their flowers because they signed both their wide receivers, but in a way, it's like now you go backwards again because of this coming out. It just continues to be headlines you don't want to make in Cincinnati, and you can think things are bad here, and sometimes they have been, but this has been going on for a long time. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's just messy when it didn't have to be.
Exactly. I wish Trey Hendrickson can find, I wish him the best. I hope he finds either a deal with them, but someone deserves to, have him, and he deserves to be somewhere where they're going to pay him.
It's just
so that's all I got to say.
Broke off is it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, sustaining being good in NFL is hard.
Yep.
The Cincinnati Bengals are showing us this right now.
Absolutely. Hour 3, that's coming up next. The latest on Cam Ward from NFL Network's Cameron Wolf. He will give us, like I said, the latest. And is the door still a little bit cracked, according to this report? We'll get to that next year on RKW 104.5 The Zone.
8:01 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Colorado's Pro Day today, but Chad Brinker and Brian Callahan will not be in attendance. Instead, Denard Wilson, Tyke Tolbert, Nick Holtz, among others, will be there to scout Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter. The Raiders and quarterback Geno Smith agreed on a 2-year extension worth up to $85.5 million. The Raiders acquired Smith for a third-round draft pick from Seattle back on March 7th. He set a career high in passing yards with 4,320 yards last season. The 34-year-old two-time Pro Bowler reunites with first-year Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Then the Cardinals and tight end Trey McBride agreed to a 4-year, $76 million extension, making him the highest-paid tight end in NFL history, surpassing Kansas City's Travis Kelce. The second-round pick in 2022 is coming off his first Pro Bowl and setting a career high in 111 receptions and 1,146 yards. The Final Four tomorrow, starting with Florida taking on Auburn at 5:09 Central, and a first-ever SEC head-to-head matchup. The Gators beat the Tigers in Auburn 90-81 back on February 8th. Then at 7:49, it's Houston taking on Duke, where the Cougars and Blue Devils have met once in their history. The Elite Eight last season, where Duke won 54-51, both on CBS. And in case you missed it yesterday, our own Ramon Foster was announced as the new color analyst for the Vol Radio Network for Tennessee football, alongside first-year Vols play-by-play announcer Mike Keith, former Titans Radio. He'll be on the show at 9:20, so you want to stick around. A new era starts on Rocky Top. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome in, Hour 3 and a Friday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Of course, we are brewed up by Scooters Coffee, the best coffee in Middle Tennessee. They've got locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. You can download the Scooters Coffee mobile app too today. You're going to get $2 off your first mobile order, folks. You will not be disappointed. They've got coffee. They've got smoothies. They've got all the goods in terms of all the bites and the morning breakfast stuff. So we are so excited to be their partner.
Absolutely.
We're also excited because our partner, Ramon Foster, is also now going to be partners with Mike Keith, Jason Swain, and Brent Hubbs on the Vol Network. He is going to be doing the color analyst position there moving forward. So super excited for Ramon Foster, going to be doing triple duty, double duty, whatever you want to call it, because I know he's got other things he's doing. And Justin Hawkins also in today doing great work as well. I'm Kayla Anderson. We've had congrats all throughout the show today, and that's going to continue because we've got your brother coming up, Ron Slay, at 8:20, and then we have your new partner in crime, Mr. Mike Keith, coming up at 9:20. So excited to talk with them about that, too.
Me, too. I'm excited to have Mike on now as one voice of the Vols now. It's fascinating, man, for sure. Looking forward to having that conversation with him and having him just on the station for a second.
It's been a minute. So the latest on Cam Ward, and I know a lot of you guys are just like, can we just get this over with? We've got about 3 weeks to the draft. I know, and it's lying season, and every day somebody new comes out with the latest that they've been hearing, and that the Titans might be having the door cracked a little open. But we wouldn't do our job if we did not get to every update that is needed to get to. And NFL Network's Cameron Ward does Wolf, I should say, does a good job with the information he, gets out there. So this was the latest on Cam Ward and the Titans coming from Cameron Wolf of the NFL Network last night.
Their general manager, Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, their president, they've been really clear of going through the process. And so while one person described it to me as Cam Ward is the leader in the clubhouse for golf phrases, maybe he's 3 or 4 strokes up going into the final hole, there's no complete final decision yet. And a big part of the reason is there's still teams trying to knock on their doors, seeing what could we try to trade for to potentially get up to number 1. And one of those teams, the New York Giants, has been consistent throughout the process. I saw their general manager, Joe Shane, talking with Borgonzi at the Breakers at West Palm, having one of those conversations that he had again at the Pro Day. But they signed Russell Wilson. They're obviously anticipating the Titans having control and potentially making that pick. But their process right now is to go to Colorado tomorrow. Part of their staff, as you reported, Ian, you won't see Chad Brinker or their head coach, Brian Callahan, but they will have that private workout April 9th. One thing I did find out that was interesting throughout the Cam Ward process, their owner, Amy Adams Strunk, visited the Miami private workout they had with Cam Ward. That's a little bit unusual for an owner, and maybe another sign of just how interested they are in Cam Ward as this process goes on.
Yeah, that was Cameron Wolf of the NFL Network last night with the latest. You've heard pretty much all of that, and I know Easton Freeze is the one that got that info out first about Amy Adams Strunk attending Miami, the private workout in Miami for Cam Ward. And I think that's the question we now look at moving forward when they have the private workout for Shedeur Sanders and also Travis Hunter, obviously, coming up on April 9th. Is Amy Adams Strunk going to be down there? Because if she doesn't make the trip there, that's when you start to really think, okay, you feel like they're rolling out the red carpet for Ward at this point.
They are. And again, when you get those reports, and everything matters this time of the year, especially like when you're drafting number 1 overall. I don't know if she was in the building for the actual workout. There was no discussion, but the fact that she flew down still and sat and met with him and had conversations and asked those questions, because again, owners don't make decisions like that. The coaches have to be very familiar. But if you're in the market for a quarterback, if you're in the market and you have earned, because you did, the number 1 overall pick by losing, this is a supreme opportunity for you and everybody else surrounding your business, because that's the other part of it too. Miss Amy Adams Strunk, this is still a business to her. And if that number 1 player, be a quarterback, becomes your pick, he can elevate your revenue.
Oh, yeah.
He can elevate the odds. He can elevate you being on national television for those Christmas games, as Kansas City is begging to have a Christmas game every single year, or be in the primetime slots. That adds eyes. Those impressions mean a lot to your branding of the Tennessee Titans or, the Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys. So for her to have a conversation with these guys, and I don't know if she's going to go meet with Shedeur also, but
we'll find
to
out.
Have an understanding of what you're hiring, even though she's not going to coach them or any of those types of things, that partnership means a lot. I think you go back to her father, Mr. Bud Adams, and how he felt about Vince Young, right? And what that meant to this organization, all of being from Texas and stuff like that, right? It does matter. I've always been told, the franchise quarterback, if you have the right one, becomes bigger than the owner, right? He's the guy that everybody knows, especially if you're successful. Think about Patrick Mahomes. He's the CEO, essentially, of the Kansas City Chiefs. We know the Hunt family runs it, right? But the importance of their franchise lies on his shoulders, lies on his ability to make plays for your team. And I think it's always important in those spots, although I don't like a lot of owner involvement. Jerry Jones, right? A lot of owner involvement in the players. The understanding of you guys are in business together means a lot. I mean, look at what the Haslam's did with Deshaun Watson and the hopes that they had with him. You put yourself in a position where we're locked tight in everything that we do, and I'm trusting you to carry my business and make us richer while we also make you rich, right? Those are the things that have to happen. So I do wonder, not that she has to, if Miss Amy is going to go to Boulder. It's a nice place from what I've heard.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's a college town, for sure.
Is it but no, I say nice in the terms of rich. It's an expensive place to live
and
at.
honestly, it's crazy to think, a lot of college towns can also be very expensive to live in. When I lived in Missoula, Montana, they've got a big FCS. They're the Montana Grizzlies.
Yeah,
it's super expensive.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's weird how some of these small college towns can be in terms you wouldn't think that, and they completely are the opposite.
Yeah, I say that in the sense like Miami and Boulder are geographically two different type of places. But if you want to go and have a good time, I've heard Boulder's a nice place to go.
They've got some hills. If you like to ski, definitely go do your thing in Boulder. We were going to get to a call, and then they just hung up. I was going to get to a congrats for Ramon.
I appreciate the call anyway. I appreciate whoever named it.
I don't know why he hung up, but basically, Ramon, he was going to ask you what goes into your daily prep for now being the color analyst for
that's a good question.
To be quite honest with you, there's two sides of what I've had going. The sideline job that I have with Titans Radio was a little bit different. You honestly know what's going on and be informed, and we do the show.
Because you're in it kind of every day.
Hey, I'm in it every day, so my prep was throughout the course of the week, number one. But getting to game day, like there's a lot that wasn't a whole. I ain't gonna say it wasn't a whole lot, but like. My prep for understanding how to roam up and down the sideline, look for certain things, it became like somewhat as an instinct side of it. Like,
absolutely.
Hey, I would go, talk to Philip Noel and Brad and because they were the ones that could hear my mic all the time. It's like, hey, I'm seeing something. I'm going to put you guys into, give you the information on what I'm seeing. Also reported injuries and stuff like that. Like over the course of this past year, I did get asked more questions as it pertains to the flow of the game and how guys were responding and what I expected. So I had a little dose of that. This one, Mike and I hadn't fully discussed all of that as it pertains to my prep for it. What I do know is Mike sends out a lot of information if you're on those calls with him. So I'll have to study up on guys. I've told you guys before, or as it pertains to me doing it, I want to be able to not just assist Mike Keith, but also be in a spot to where I'm knowing what Georgia is going to do, knowing what Alabama has, and not just be general. So there's a lot that I have to study, get up on, and get familiar with, especially on the college side of things, because they don't do a whole lot of injury reports. Well, they do now. But as far as like the secrets that they hide, they can hide a whole lot more than NFL
They don't
teams
give
can.
access like NFL does.
But that's also where Mike Keith's is, I was about to say Involved Network will be in a spot to where the information that they have, I'll get all of that too. And it's going to be on me to prep for it and be ready for game day. Again, my role is essentially how Coach Mac's role is with Titans Radio. I see and diagnose and deliver the pictures that are happening on the field. Now, one thing I'll have to adjust to is the absolute flow of the offense, how quick it is and how fast you got to get in and get out with less words because the offense is so fast. Defense, we can work that. However, and that's where my side of knowing the quarterbacks and offensive tendencies of Oklahoma, Arkansas, ETSU, that side of it is just the prep side of the game, but I'll be seeing and describing the breakdowns of the plays more as Mike give you the setup of the play.
Exactly. That's kind of how it works with the play-by-play and a color. But yeah, a lot of prep that goes into it, a lot of behind-the-scenes work.
It will be
as
a lot
well.
of it,
So
a lot more.
It'll be a fun challenge.
By the way, real quick, man, I got a text on my phone. Ain't even open. I just saw his name pop up. Coach Former text me.
Oh my goodness.
Morning is made. Anybody know that? Have you ever heard me speak about him? That's my guy.
That's your dude.
So to see Big Phil, old man, big coach, send me a text, that's really dope.
That's pretty sweet, man.
You can find me for that one, of course, but that was a cool moment.
No, we don't find people on our show.
I know
That's just
Buck and Lucas, they
That's
do.
just Buck. Buck likes to brag. We just do it on accident.
Yeah.
there we go. Find him for the fun of it. Speaking of fun, it is almost 8:20, and guess what? We've got Ron Slay in an hour earlier on Friday because, of course, we've got Mike Keith coming up at 9:20. He has been in Houston. He's obviously there for the Final Four. He did the, what would we call it?
Three-point contest and slam
PA
dunk.
guy. One of the PA MCs for that with Jay Billis last night in Houston. Did a great job. We are going to get familiar with the Final Four as he previews that coming up next on RKW 104.5 The Zone.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural People. Good people right now. USS is a company I'm sure a few people have run into or called over the last few days because of the amount of rain we've had, and that's what they do. They are a foundation repair and waterproofing company, man. They've served Middle Tennessee area since 1994, and they do a really good job at it. Like, it's two parts of what they do, man. It's the hot and dry weather you have to worry about, where you'll notice soil cracking and pulling away from your home, man. And maybe leaving holes or gaps in your foundation. Your bricks may be cracking, walls bowing, doors or windows sticking. These are all signs of possible foundation issue. Your house may be trying to tell you something, so listen to it. On the waterproofing side of things, man, that can include drainage and sealers, oftentimes both. And with that waterproofing, right, up to 50% of the air you breathe in the first floor of your home is the air that came from your crawl space. Control that moisture and create a healthier home for your family by encapsulating your crawl space. Many repairs are guaranteed for the lifetime of the home. I told you a second ago, they've been serving Middle Tennessee area since 1994. They aren't going anywhere. They have over 25,000 satisfied residential customers. We guarantee our best. Call USS. The number is 615-488-7855 or online at USSTN.com.
Welcome back to RKW Friday edition. And on Fridays, we bring in our guy, Ron Slake, as he takes the roof off. And it is a little early, but that's okay. We're never going to complain when Ron Slake comes in a little bit early. And he is in San Antonio for the Final Four. How you doing down there? You live, brother, after your MC last night? You did a great job.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, it's a little light work, man. It was actually a little easier than I thought it was going to be, you know, because things move so fast. You got so many contestants that got to go. But the commentating was pretty good. Sean Farnham did a terrific job hosting. And then us, you know, me, Angel Gray, and Jay Billis filling in, getting our opportunity to sit there at the desk with them, commentate a little bit, and then being able to roam out with the fans and, you know, the contestants. It was pretty dope, man. That was my wheelhouse, if you will.
Yes, it was.
It really
man.
was. I'm assuming you were the first to text your brother, Mr. Ramon Foster, here after the news came out yesterday.
Man, let me just say this, man.
Get started.
I'm just saying, man. It's always difficult for us to put into words, you know, when we have little checkpoints or blessings drop in our lap, man, you know, because we're always thankful for, you know, anything, the smallest things, the biggest things, but we're always more grateful for others, you know, to get those blessings bestowed on them, man, and a guy that's going to carry it the way it's supposed to be carried. That's what Savage is, you know, and this should be groundworks and a blueprint for people out there, man. Like, if you keep bigging up other people, I promise you, at some point, when your grind is continuing to go, it's going to fall in your lap as well. So, man, I'm beyond proud as a brother, you know what I mean, friend, my dog, a fellow savagery. Oh, man, it's pretty dope to see, because everybody don't get the opportunity, you know, let alone to go and talk about sports, to go back to the grounds where you laid the groundwork for everything that got you to this point right now outside of high school. Man, that's next level, man. Anybody that you know that talks about talking about sports or talking about their foundation, they all want to be able to go back home. Mm-hmm. They have the opportunity to go back to Vol country, man, and not as a fan, but as a storyteller and as a person that get to break down the game on the field that he played on with his guys. Hey, dog, I don't think it's nothing great. I'm sure it is somewhere out there. We'll be able to see that at some point. But right now, man, big salute to my guy. I can't wait to invade the booth. Tell Mike Keefe, scoot over. Don't be telling me to shh. None of that. I know he coming up next. I'm coming up in that loud, proud, and repping Vol Nation and repping my brother, man, to the fullest. You hear me?
Yes, indeed, Savage. I appreciate that, man. I think I end up dropping your name in the podcast that Mike and I did, man. He said there will be a Ron Slake corner over there, just so you know.
Hey, it gotta be, because guess what? I'm gonna be like one of them little mice up there. I'm gonna be tunneling and burrowing through the wall. You know what I mean? Like on Shawshank Redemption or something. If y'all don't put me in there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it, man. Brad Willis and Philip Noel already have acknowledged that too, Savage. You gonna have your own corner, dog. 100%.
That's all I ask, man. Savage, man, we beyond proud, dog, for real, man. Because the thing we get to see, man, that a lot of people don't know, you don't walk this journey alone, man. You get to pull everybody along with you. You know what I mean? Especially the ones that been day one and down. Like, to be able to see my nephews in there, man, and Keith and Chris and Lil Ron and Jamie and Nardo and Sean, when they come up like Brother Josh, all this, everybody get to go see you narrate where you played, dog. Yeah. I remember walking through the halls and we pointing like, hey, man, that's me right there on the door. You know what I mean? See the big 78 running out. Yeah. And now, man, we get to point up there to the booth. Come on, dog. Like, we're Mike G. Like, that's the other part. Like, this ain't You ain't walking into this blind with, just anybody that they went and found off the street. This is family oriented, man. This is something real. You know what I mean? So it's all going to be genuine, man. There's going to be plenty of memories made. I can't wait, dog. I can't wait.
I can't either, man. With that being said, I was telling somebody too, man, like I almost feel like it's cheating a little bit considering, like to go in now after Bob Kessler and his crews that he's had, man, to be in that spot to where the Vols are right now. I think it's probably one of the more cooler parts in it too is they're competitive. They got the opportunity to be even better at times, too. And that's one thing I know we're very prideful as Vols fans, as most people are about their college teams, too. But to be in this era in the Savage, because it was some down Dooley years. It was some Butch years. It was some Pruitt years. And to see where Coach Heupel, who nobody knew who he was at the time, turn this thing around, man. I know you're an honorary football player at this point, too. What is it like for you? Because you've gone up more than I have the last few years, man, to see this thing kind of turn around. Because I remember you telling me under Butch, you called me, you said, Moan, these offensive linemen look like basketball players.
Yeah, they did, dog. And that wasn't just coming from me. That was me sitting around football guys and sitting around guys like Al Wilson and people like that. This is, real ambassadors of the program saying the same exact thing. So I knew I wasn't lying and seeing something that was different. But, man, we have been able to kind of, it seems like we was able to skip the process and the dark times, but I remember sitting on the back porch, man, going through it. Brother Josh coming out there every time they score a touchdown, Alabama or something, you know what I mean? Even when we wasn't playing. Yeah. People coming over there picking on us, we getting texts, you know what I mean, from Sean and them talking about what Kentucky doing. And I'm like, hey, dog, leave us alone. Like, we is over here in misery. Let us be. But now to see us come out on the other end of it, man, this is what it's about. You stay down till you come up. And you get a guy like Josh Heupel, you know what I'm saying, that didn't nobody know, but Danny White believed in him, believed in his vision, got behind him, pushed it. And now we see where we are. College football playoff was right there. Who knew when it started that would be the bar, set, that Tennessee would be contending to go in the college football playoff and advance in the next round against the eventual national champion. So I'm here for it all, man. I'm loving where it is. I'm bleeding it, and I can't wait. You know what I mean? To the fall. Shoot, forget that. To the spring game get here. What is that? This week?
Next weekend. Next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend, man. It's good times are here, man, and it continues to get better. That's the thing that I like. We're looking forward, and it continues to get better. There's no going back. I'm here for it.
For sure. So with that, it's still basketball season and March Madness, even though it's April Savage is going on, man. You're in San Antonio where it's going to be held at. How do you see these matchups, man, leading to the national championship game, man, as far as the teams to the left? Are you very SEC heavy last night in the slam dunk and three-point contest? Our guy, man, let us down a little bit, but we're good. You see an SEC team winning this whole thing, Savage?
Man, I'm still continue to lean on it. I picked Florida to win it. I thought they'll be matched up against Tennessee. That didn't go our way. Went up against the juggernaut of Houston. That was able to impose their will. But the matchup, with Auburn and Florida, we're guaranteed to get somebody in the national championship game. So that's a bonus. Walking into it, you get 2 of the Final Four. You've been able to split it 50% throughout. So I think things are still good. You got a guy like Walter Clayton Jr. leading Florida. Could have been in the conversation for National Player of the Year. Janai Broome leading Auburn, depending on how healthy he is. But we know who Bruce Pearl is when it comes to motivating his team and feeling like they're back against the wall, trying to get a dub. He's the master manipulator of it, So that's going to be that's going to be great. Now, yes, I do believe that an SEC team will come out as a champion. It's about that time. That was the goal coming into the season. I don't see any reason for it to change now. You do got some formidable opponents, though, on the other side. When you look at Duke, when you look at Houston, I will say this. I'd much rather be on this side playing Auburn and Florida than having to go play a Houston and knowing after this Houston game to go to the championship, you got to play another one. Because regardless if Houston wins or loses, it's going to be a dog fight. Like, it's tooth and nail. I don't care if Duke blows them out or Duke lose by 20. Houston going to play physical. They're going to go out there and leave their imprint on the game, and you're going to understand exactly what a Kevin Sampson team is when you walk away from that matchup. Wow. And you got to understand Cooper Flagg, potential number 1 draft pick, potential player of the year in college. Man, he's been stepping up to it. He's stepping up to the plate. He's giving everybody what they're looking for. So, I mean, the matchups are beautiful, man. You got the old heads versus the new heads. When you look at Shai and Todd Golden, and then you got Kevin Sampson and Bruce Pearl being the Mr. Miyagi's, trying to take them down through there and see what Danielson want to do. So, man, I'm here for it, man. The city is buzzing down here. The fan bases arrived, a lot of them yesterday, and it's time to get it on.
Yeah, it is.
Ron Slade joined us this morning on RKW. He is down in San Antonio for the Final Four. Talking a little hoops right now. So when it comes to that Florida-Auburn matchup on Saturday, that is the first game that happens down there. It's you could go either way. I feel like there's some people that are like, we're going Florida, others that obviously go in Auburn. But what's the key to this one in terms of, edging out each other?
I think, man, when you look at Florida got to take care of the ball. They've been having double-digit turnovers against the teams that they played.
Yeah.
And that's kind of haunted them a little bit. You take the Maryland second half out of it, and every single game's been tight because they made it tight, self-inflicted things by turning the ball over and having to, dig back out of holes. Playing against the Auburn team, you don't want to do that. You don't want to give them the opportunity to go out there because they score off your turnover and in transition, and they get busy. The points in the paint are premium for Auburn. They've been dominating in the paint. They've been getting extra possessions by getting offensive rebounds and controlling that. So, the front court has the work cut out for them going against Auburn. And then I think the Auburn guards defensively, they've been known. Denver Jones, Miles Kelly, Tahad Pettiford, Chad Baker-Mazar, you can throw him in there. They got their work cut out for that trio of with Florida. I think in this tournament, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to get it wrong, but they account for at least 60 to 70% of their points, which is that's a whole lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how it continues to play out. But both teams got pros, both teams got cons. At this point, it's elite versus elite, and the mistakes that you made, they will make you pay.
Is Janai Broom, in your eyes, good to go? I mean, I know he had that issue with the elbow. He wasn't practicing for a couple of days. Have you heard anything in terms of Janai Broom?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from not going. I would be shocked if Broom wasn't gonna go. I think, man, you get to this level, and this is top notch. This is exactly where you want to be. So. I expect him to go, regardless if he's 100%
right
or not. You know what I mean? He is going to be that guy. And correction, too, in the plus-minus minutes, I had to look it up, fourth best of any trio in the nation. Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, and Will Richard, plus 355 in plus-minus. So,
goodness.
Yeah, that's pretty serious. Yeah, but Broom ain't going to miss this. If he got to get shots or whatever he got to do, he got 2 games, bro.
Play with no toes, whatever it is.
Yeah, buddy, you locked up.
Savage, I ended up asking Brent Hubs, man, and I'll ask you too. Have you adjusted yet? Because there's conversation or at least speculation that a guy like Felix Okpara will hop in the portal. One, how did you see his production this year? And two, if he does, do you blame him in today's game, or would it be better for him to stay with the Vols if that's the case? So I'm just trying to figure out the why, and from your perspective, like how you feel about this being the case, because I mean Jonas Adu benefited from it, and here's the other thing too: whether they're paying you a high 6 figures or 7 figures. I mean that's hard when you might be a second-round pick or might have to go other places in the NBA.
Yeah, I think, man, Savage, man, we saw his growth from the beginning to the end. I think coming back, he'll definitely be minimum of second-team All-SEC performer next year, kind of the maturation, kind of like Jonas Adu had. So outside of that, man, it's a business. You got to make a business decision.
Yeah.
Everybody's confronted with it. Everybody got to make that decision. He got to talk to his people, and it's almost like, man, are you willing to be comfortable and bet on yourself by staying in Tennessee, knowing that you're going to have the opportunities, you built something there, or are you saying that, man, I might not be able to get this might be the ceiling for me. I might not be able to get any further than this. So at that point, it's almost like, okay, let me take the bread because I got to hurry up and get this and at least have a little cushion when I get ready to walk out of this thing, But the one thing about it, man, Tennessee ain't cheap. So I'm sure his pockets could be lined in a cool way, you know what I mean, to benefit him. It's just about, do you want to be a little bit greedier? Do he feel a little bit more that he deserves more? If so, the door's open for him. One thing about it, man, the train can't stop. That's one, and that's across the nation. You got guys like Pharrell Payne from A&M jumping in there. Solomon Washington just jumped in there. Like, man, Auburn just picked up a hell of a player from UCF. Like,
sure did.
Mm-hmm.
It's live out here, man. It's live, and the national championship game ain't even been played. That's the craziest part of it.
Did you have a question to ask your brother about San Antonio real quick before we wrap things up? I was like, how are we going to get through this whole segment and not bring this up?
My mom has switched to a different lane right there. He started talking about me. I've been trying to minimize myself a little bit. With that being said, Savage, I'm a huge Charles Barkley fan, okay? And I love their production on the TNT crew at halftime. And he used to always say, San Antonio and those big old women and churros, man. How's the city of San Antonio been for you, man? Do you share the same sentiments as Charles Barkley?
Yeah, I ain't seen the big old women or nothing like that Chuck talking about because it's flooded with Final Four. You know what I mean? Yeah. We got fans from all over. But it is. I have been putting them on the roster of Nathaniel to try to see, you know what I mean, if they're going to be a Nathaniel City throughout. It's been solid, you know what I mean? But they're leaning towards the Nathaniel City. Yeah. And it's cool for them, you know what I mean? It's great for them. It just ain't great for me coming down here and thinking that it's going to be an event city and, you know what I mean, it's popping left and right. Nah. I did have a good time last night, man, at the ESPN put together a nice little party for us last night. You know what I mean? That was cool, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to interject that into the city instead of the city saying, oh, we already got that for you. So had to create your own. But, hey, man, we're going to see. You know what I mean? I will say this. Chuck Wagon ain't wrong. Yeah. And whatever his thoughts is, however he feel, he sure got the backing for it. I will say that.
Yes, he does. Man, by the way, real quick too, man, you tabbed him at the beginning of the slam dunk contest, and he delivered. Norfolk State's Christian Ings, man, explosive, Savage.
That was fun to watch.
I'm glad you picked that, Savage, because I kept on telling them during the broadcast, somebody picked him. Nobody want to go and say, you know what I mean? Big Dog, the one poured him out there. But, man, you saw it from the interview. When we interviewed him, man, he was so cool, calm. You could see the personality. Yeah. And he was excited to be there. Like, this is a team they just played in the NCAA tournament. I think they played Florida early on in the first round after winning the play-in game. So, Norfolk State, man, he knew what to do. Like, he's been on the top 10 in SportsCenter in the same day twice, number one and number three. So that said something, man. He knew how to work the crowd. He was great with the other contestants. He was live on the phone the whole time. Like, that was pretty dope, man. I hope he enjoyed it, and he got a nice little bag for winning.
Yo, by the way, if ESPN is smart, they grab him and put you two together. I'm telling you, like, legitimately, he was good on the mic, man. He is very entertaining, and I hate to even say this because I hate when people say it, but he's well spoken, articulate. He know what he's doing with the mic in his hand, Savage.
Absolutely, man. He did. That was the pride of Philly, man. He was a Philly kid all through and through. I could hear it in his voice. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like Ray Gibson. They can tell the way I walk. I ain't from around here. So that's exactly where he represented himself, man.
No doubt.
Ron Slay joining us from down in San Antonio. Have a fun weekend in the Final Four, and we'll catch you next week.
No doubt, man. We live from 11 to 1 Central Time here on the SEC Network, man. So y'all, you know what I mean?
Tune in.
Have a good time, man. Savage.
Yeah.
Proud of you, dog.
Appreciate you, dog.
I can't stop smiling, man. Love you, man.
Love you too, dog.
He is Ron Slay, our good buddy, our friend, a brother of Ramon Foster, and of course, on 3HL every afternoon from 3 till 6. When we return, a new front court name to watch out for possibly when it comes to Tennessee basketball. The latest on that, it might be a name you're familiar with right here in Nashville. That's coming up next here on RKW.
We've got the trucks, all the trims, all the towing, all the bells and whistles, and all at Truck Month Savings. Two Rivers Ford is Ford Truck Central.
Wrapping up hour 3 here on a I would say sunny Friday morning because it's been a little bit dreary and the weather's been rocking this week, right?
It has. I went and took a little, I busted a block real quick and walked on the balcony with Bert right quick.
Is it warm?
It feels good. No, it's just right. I think it's supposed to get like high of 82 today. So not bad, but I'm hoping that doesn't charge the atmosphere either with storms still coming.
I know. So everybody be safe out there still as we continue to get weather and there's flooding going on. So be safe when you are out there for sure. We've got Mike Keith coming up here at 9:20. So looking forward to that. So we just were talking with Slay Dog when it comes to the Final Four, but also a little bit of Tennessee basketball. And this news came down here recently from Ryan Shumpert, who has been on the show before. And he does RockyTopInsider.com. And he says to watch out for a guy you might be familiar with, Vanderbilt forward Jalen Carey that had recently jumped in the portal.
Really?
He said that the two, in terms of Tennessee and Jalen Carey, have mutual interest in one another. Obviously, this is a guy they could add. They're looking at the forward spot. He's 6'8", power forward, something that, again, they would look forward to maybe adding to this team. It looks like he averaged about 9.5 points last year, 6.2 rebounds, playing for Mark Byington and Vandy.
He hopped in the portal? Jalen Carey did, is what they're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, did not know that from Vandy. So he was a guy, he was a menace out there. He's an intimidator as far as his play goes, and I like that. He's one of those guys, man, I can say this in the offseason now because Vandy's not playing, the Vols not playing, but in those games, he was a tone setter for me.
I know, because your eyes popped up.
Yeah,
they were
it did
what?
when I recognized who he was.
Yeah.
Like, I knew the player, and I knew he was number 22 for Vanderbilt basketball. I didn't realize he hopped in the portal first and foremost because I don't, follow him like
it's a lot
day to day like that, and everybody's in that. But coming from JMU, James Madison University, to Vanderbilt, again, I thought he had a solid enough season this year. He stays in foul trouble from time to time, but he's a guy that works the paint. I'll say there's something also I feel like the Vols need from time to time, too, as it pertains to their basketball post players. Somebody that can control the paint. I feel like this year, and honestly, the last couple of years, those second chance opportunities as it pertains to, like, defense, offenses getting around the bucket, that's got to be minimized at some point, man. But this is a guy I feel like for sure should be somebody you keep your eye on, not just because the Vols, you said Shumpert mentioned that he could, there's an interest there. But as far as the way I've seen his personality, he seems to be a guy that likes to be coached hard, wants to be involved, brings a sense of physicality and discipline to his game too. So we'll see what that turns into. 6'8", 265.
Got some
make
size.
him a tight end.
I know, right? Got some size to him.
Good tight end,
and that's the thing. He declared last week to jump into the portal, and so right now Tennessee has currently 6 scholarship spots to fill, and obviously they're going in the portal for some of these. The Vols didn't get the shooting guard, Isaac McKinley, as you know. We're talking about Jacoby Gillespie right now, Tennessee native that is looking to possibly be coming to Tennessee. There's interest there in terms of adding a guard, and probably pretty seamless from what he was doing at Maryland, too, in that system. Yeah. So this, again, something to look out for. So that was the latest from Ryan Shumpert.
Imagine that, though, Kayla, going from Vanderbilt to Tennessee like that. Like that
this is the day and age we live in,
right? And Jonas Adu did that. He went from Tennessee to Arkansas and had to go back into Tennessee to play against the Vols. So I'm still getting used to it specifically on that one, because when it comes to basketball players, I've always kind of said it's like you see those guys' face. You can yell directly at them.
You
the
can.
court and the fans are on top of those guys. So I'm sure Adu heard some stuff. And that's just the game. Fans gonna fan how you want to, but hearing Jalen Carey hop in, I'm not sure how Vanderbilt felt about him. I looked at him and said Vanderbilt's going to have, I remember watching it when they beat the Vols. I said Vanderbilt's going to have a menace in him. I think we talked about him after the Vols got upset by Vanderbilt this past year. I said Jalen Carey, if I'm not mistaken, he may have fouled out, but he was creating chaos for the Vols when it came to that Vanderbilt-Tennessee matchup.
Yeah, it stood out to
you.
you.
A little shocked by that, I'll be honest.
And Derek D. in the F&M Bank chat, you're right. In terms of Jalen Carey, he's also been linked to Duke because his brother, Vernon Carey, currently plays for Duke.
Gotcha.
So, but I thought that was interesting because I hadn't heard that yet tied to Tennessee in particular. So Ryan Shumpert with the latest on that, saying that they do have mutual interest for one another.
It means they got to discuss the financials. This is what that sounds like.
There it is, right?
They got to discuss the financials more than anything.
All comes down to what you're getting nowadays in terms of a bag. So we are going to ride right into hour 4. I swear this morning has gone by so quick. I don't know if it has for y'all out there, but man, we should call it like Fast Friday now on. It always seems like that. But when we return, of course, we've got Mike Keith coming up at 9:20. We'll get all of us updated on the latest with Cam Ward, and it is pro day for Colorado's Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, who's going to be down there. That's next on RKW 104.5 The Zone.
Well, bowling here with my guy Trey Hardsook, Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Go where the pros go to take care of your lawn and have the best lawn in the neighborhood this time of year. Trey, all times of year, you guys, you have the best advice. We're talking turf, we're talking pre-emergence, anything that people need. You guys have the best advice in the market for them.
Absolutely, Will. I'll tell you, man, now is such a fun time of year because when the sun starts popping out, the temperature starts rising. You start seeing that turf that has been, dormancy state or didn't look as good throughout the winter. So important right now that you come on down to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply and get that first round of pre-emergent. So this summer throughout the season, keep that grassy weed germination down and make sure that we can keep our yard under control because we know our ultimate goal is to make sure that we have lush green grass with no weeds, and we can do that at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. It doesn't matter whether you have 0.3 of an acre or 33 acres. We'd love to talk to you about it. Conveniently located all over Middle Tennessee. Got locations in Nashville, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lamar, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
Just before 9 o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone studios, good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Colorado's Pro Day today, but Chad Brinker and head coach Brian Callahan will not be in attendance. Percheron Davenport, Bernard Wilson, Tyke Tolbert, and Nick Holtz, among others, will be there for the Titans to scout Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter. The Raiders and quarterback Geno Smith agreed on a 2-year extension worth up to $85.5 million. The Raiders acquired Smith for a third-round draft pick back on March 7th. And he set a career-high 4,320 yards. The 34-year-old two-time Pro Bowler reunites with first-year Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. The Cardinals and tight end Trey McBride agreed to a 4-year, $76 million extension. McBride now is the highest-paid tight end in NFL history. The second-round pick in 2022 is coming off his best season, making the Pro Bowl and setting career highs in receptions, 111, and yards, 1,146. The Final Four starts tomorrow. Catch all the action on CBS, starting with Florida taking on Auburn at 5:09 and a first-ever SEC head-to-head matchup in the Final Four. The Gators beat the Tigers back in Auburn 90-81 on February 8th. Then at 7:49, it's Houston taking on Duke. The Cougars and Blue Devils have only met once in their history. It was the Elite Eight last season. Duke won that matchup 54-51. And in case you missed it yesterday, Ramon Foster announced as the new color analyst for the Tennessee Volunteer Football Vol Network, alongside first-year Vols play-by-play announcer Mike Keith, formerly of Titans Radio, who will be joining the show coming up here in 20 minutes. It's a new era on Rocky Top. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you have to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for the home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Put the fours up. It is hour 4 of Ramon, Kayla, and Will here on this Fast Friday. I like the sound of that. We always want the day to go by fast. Well, sometimes we like to sit and enjoy it, but we got stuff to get to.
We do.
We got the weekend to get to as well, and hopefully you guys are riding into the weekend smooth as we've had some crazy weather this week in Middle Tennessee. Y'all stay safe out there. Hopefully we'll dry out next week. We have a announcement by Scooter's Coffee because they reminded us, Ramon, that it is National Caramel Day. And so they have their Caramelicious that they have. It's a specialty there. A lot of the times they put out a new,
Tuesday.
right? It's a great flavor if you like caramel. So if you want to go check out their Caramelicious flavor of coffee, you can do that at their locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. We love being partners with them. We honestly do. It's like sometimes you have a partner and it's like, it's cool, But like our partnership with Scooters over just the last month has been phenomenal. People have been going in, showing pictures of what they've been getting at the drive-thru. You can download that mobile app too if you want, and you can save $2 off your first mobile order. We've got our mugs here. We've got special coffee that we're going to be introducing soon. We each are coming up with our own kind of coffee drink, so that should be exciting. We've got Ramon Foster here. If you are just joining us in this 4th hour, which is totally fine, it has been announced that he is the new color analyst for Vol Network, Vol Football, alongside Mike Keith and, of course, Jason Swain on that broadcast, along with Brent Hubbs. So we've had people calling in. We've had his brother on this morning congratulating him. So if you do want to call in and give your congrats, 615-737-1045. Justin Hawkins as well, holding it down back here. I'm Kayla Anderson, and we're ready for hour 4. We got Mike Keith coming up.
We do. Absolutely, man. We're rocking along here, man. Jay Hawk doing his updates.
Yeah.
That was new for him this week.
It's my first time doing it.
Look, it's my guy. You want the yes, sir?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Jay Hawk got a little flavor in you, man. That's what I'm talking
Is
about.
that exciting? Just to
Not the Caramelicious flavor, though.
Oh, you don't like that one?
Oh, no, it's just not my
Not your
go-to.
jam. Okay, wait. I got to ask then. I'm trying to get an up on all these guys because I want to win the competition of this best drink. So what do you like in your coffee?
What do I like in my coffee?
Yeah, like what flavors?
I'm a big mocha person.
Mocha, yeah.
So Moan mentioned that his might be a mocha.
It may end up being a mocha. I like the Caramelicious. The one I had on Tuesday, the sugar-free, I ended up getting a latte.
Yeah.
Sugar-free with almond milk was phenomenal.
Ooh, that sounds
good.
good.
I try not to as of late. I've been leaning more towards almond milk instead of just regular dairy
I do
cow milk.
coconut milk.
Do you? You do
Yeah.
coconut? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's got a nice flavor to it, too. I always get the sugar-free version of that, too.
That's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we got to come up with that by Monday. So if you guys have any suggestions, let us know. Oh, Stony Keeley says get those mini donuts there. Yeah, I know
get the
those
mini
are good.
donuts. Five Stony?
They're really
I think
good.
Stoney's up in my area, too, if I'm not
Is he?
mistaken, in
Hendersonville?
Hendersonville. I know Zach is.
Yeah, and you guys got one right close to that.
Yeah,
area.
absolutely. There's a couple, I think, one in Rivergate area, Madison, and then White House, too.
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely. Shout out to Scooters, man. Fire. That's what we're talking
I'm
about.
like hungry now. Okay, thanks a lot, Stony. Okay, so we've got Pro Day going on. Another Pro Day. This time, a lot of eyes in Boulder this weekend, or I should say today, as they are holding their Pro Day for Colorado. And the Titans will be there. It just won't be everybody. So Teron Davenport reported this recently. Denard Wilson's going to be there. Mike Borgonzi, wide receiver coach Tyke Tolbert, and most recently updated will be Nick Holtz also attending Colorado's Pro Day down there. Of course, Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders are going to be there, but no Brian Callahan and no Chad Brinker.
Does it matter to you? Does it matter to you that either one of those guys aren't there?
The only reason why it matters.
Or Miss Amy.
And that we don't know, right? Because that kind of came out after the fact that she was at the private workout. They are going to have a private workout with those two April 9th. It is believed that Callahan and Brinker will be down there. That hasn't been confirmed, but it is believed. And then the big question is, will Amy Adams-Strunk be down there? Because she was reportedly down there for Cam Ward's private workout. That's what's the telling part to me. Because if she's down there for that and those two go to the private workout, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe it is something that we don't know in terms of a race that's closer than we thought. But if you're going to bring out the whole brass to Cam Ward's Pro Day, everyone, why don't you do that then with Shador and Travis? Because you got two.
Will it also will it muddy the waters a little bit for you if she does and Chad and
you want to be honest?
Yeah, would it muddy the water? It would muddy the waters for you.
Because I don't believe anything now until I actually see it.
Yeah,
I really don't, and I know, like in my gut, I feel it's Cam Ward.
Yeah,
but again, I brought this up on the show, and I thought, you probably agreed with me too, is we don't know this front office well enough yet to know how they operate and how they operate together, especially when it comes to making the first overall pick. It's something we've never seen before here with this front office.
Yeah, with this
so
front
you do
office.
have reservations a little bit.
Yeah, and you have to that point. But I think out of respect, because again, you never know if you'll get an offer from another team. I don't know if you will at this point, but I'm not sure if you get an offer from another team, try to move up and take that number one overall spot. What if it's a team that feels like they're close enough to a Super Bowl or deeper in the playoffs? I just thought, let's say if you mess around with the Raiders and the Raiders want Abdul Carter number one overall, right? Because they got Max Crosby and they want to go ahead and shore up their defense. What if you have a scenario like that and you don't get the opportunity to take Cam Ward? So I think they do, from my perspective, have to be in a spot to where they at least respect the idea that there's a chance that they can go get get Shador Sanders too. Albeit, it may not be true in the scenario of Vegas moving up to number one.
Right.
Maybe they're not ready to do that, and they just sit and pick where they are, and everyone does for that matter. But you can't, in my opinion, overly disrespect the prospect of Shador.
No.
By saying, we're not going to send our brass to see you, because he couldn't be your franchise guy moving forward, too.
And, Moan, I think the biggest point of that we're starting to learn at least is I think we feel that Cam Ward might be more ready right now between the two. And I think that's where I'm leaning more towards. That's why I feel it would be Cam Ward. However, I still think Shador Sanders can be a successful starter. I just think if you have an opportunity right now as the Giants or as we talked about the Raiders, you have a veteran quarterback that's not there super long, like maybe a year or two for Russell Wilson, and then maybe obviously 2 years with Geno in the new deal.
Yep.
If you really think Shedeur Sanders can be your guy, go get him.
Yeah, I was just talking to Jayhawk a second ago about he put in our DMs on Twitter. Dan Orlovsky puts out he has comments about Shedeur Sanders as the hardest quarterback he's ever had to evaluate. And I'm not sure if Jayhawk has it readily available, but I'd love to hear what Dan had to say about that, because I feel the same way about it, and I think a lot of his fan base is probably considering it being that way too.
He's the hardest quarterback I've had to evaluate since I've gotten into TV. Because 75% of his snaps don't matter, Greeny. And that's the reality for everybody that's evaluating Shedeur Sanders. Half of the snaps that he had at Colorado are thrown inside of 5 yards. It feels like when you watch his tape, every ball is thrown at the line of scrimmage. You're not drafting him in the top 5 for that, right? So throw that out. That's half the snaps. And then 25% of the snaps, the offensive line protection is so terrible that I don't care if you have Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. You're not doing anything with that either. So you get to evaluate 25% of his snaps. And there's a lot that you like. I mean, he's elite with his field vision. Elite, all pro level. When you watch you watch the tape when it comes to that and you go, well, that looks like Tua Tagovailoa. And the examples are his ability to see things pre and post snap. Quarters coverage, shell coverage, you're going to clear the bottom of the screen and try to get Travis Hunter out the backside. Look how early he throws this football. I mean, that ball is thrown with 4 defenders with vision on him to a spot. That's all pro level. Again, shell coverage, but it's a different version. At the bottom of the screen, you get what we call quarters defense. At the top, you get what we call cover 2 or a half-field safety. You got to move the bottom of the screen first. He does that. That shallow defender and then that deep safety are trying to vacate the middle of the field. That top safety is just going to that corner. The middle of the field where this ball has to get thrown, but it's got to be perfectly over the top, but also before that backside. That's flawless, okay? So that's a lot like Tua. Rhythm, timing, ball placement, he's all pro at. The question mark is, how much does he have that is uncoachable? Is his size uncoachable? No. Is his physical traits uncoachable? No. Is his athleticism uncoachable? No. And I think that's where you get the teetering of opinion on Shedeur. I think he's going to be a quarterback you win a lot of games with.
Yeah, that's a great breakdown, and I like it especially because him saying it's the hardest quarterback to evaluate because of the situations with the offensive line and maybe some of those shorter passes, not seeing the full arsenal. And that's why, honestly, Ramon, I think if a team takes him that already has a veteran quarterback, sit him for a minute and let him learn. I think he could be something special, though. It's
interesting because he says, 50% of his passes are 5 yards. Pretty much, they're getting the ball out quick. They're throwing to the flats, all those type of things, like his wheel routes to wide receivers and stuff like that. He's not dropping back entirely every single time for longer routes or comebacks or for that matter. Mm-hmm. And the other half is because he had a bad offensive line. So it may benefit Shedeur to go to a better suited team, a more competitive team that he has protection. He's got more weapons. He's allowed to, as you said, Kayla, sit and grow as a pro too. And hearing Dan Orlovsky speak about it, I don't think, in my opinion, it makes sense for the Titans to bring him in right now because of what Dan just said right there. And hearing this too, like, I agree with Dan. I think Shedeur's going to be successful. Whatever, that matters, right? I think he has the opportunity to be successful, but it does come down to having a team that's got playmakers, that got a coach that's going to call it and haul it, that he can pattern his game to it. It sounds like Shedeur is a Tom Brady mock. And again, a lot of people in the beginning stages didn't know who the heck a Tom Brady was. Like you use that comparison now because he's so great. But in the beginning phases of it, it was his arm was weak. He didn't do this. Sitting. Was it the system? Like it was a lot of that. And now it's heralded as being good. Like it sounds to me they label Shedeur as a game manager, not a playmaker.
I can see that.
Because Dan gave all of that, and he didn't say playmaker. It sounds like, and game managers are good. Brock Purdy's gone a long way with it, right? The comparison to Tua, I didn't like that one because, again, it comes down to health for Tua, and he's got to have crazy weapons around him. And it's a matter of, it's a longer process, I feel like, if you bring in Shedeur to get your team to where you want to. Whereas Cam Ward has been somewhat labeled as, he can make everybody else go around him. So fascinating approach to both.
Yeah, it truly is. Great breakdown there by Dan Orlovsky. He does a really good job in terms of breaking down any type of film, but especially quarterbacks. Hang tight on the phone lines, Uncle Bob and Greg, because we've got Mike Keith coming up next. We are going to talk about his new partner in crime, our own Ramon Foster here, and then we will get to your calls to wrap up the show. It's RKW here on 104.5 The Zone with Mike Keith coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man, when I endorse somebody, I actually like to use them. Hiller is one of those companies I frequently use, man. I've used them for electrical. I've used them for HVAC around my house and even some plumbing from time to time. They don't tell you as a homeowner, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you have to do. Well, with that, I use Hiller for a lot of those small item things, man. And here's what I would tell you this. Their slogan is happy you'll build. The service is free. And it's truly like that. There's been times where you had to call them back and immediately their response time is so quick. What I like about them too is their prompt. More times than not, if you said schedule an appointment at 10 o'clock or whatever time may be, they're going to show up early, man. They're very efficient in how they work for you, too, and the pricing side of it, too. They have true transparency pricing. What that means is this, and I've experienced it for myself. Every part of the job is lined up front, all right? So homeowners like myself and you can understand what you're paying for and why. There are no hidden fees, no added costs, no surprises when you get your bill. They have that iPad right there. They line it up for you, itemize everything, see it, pay for it, done, clean. All right, if you want to book with Hiller like I do, or just simply learn more about the company that I trust, visit happyhiller.com.
Welcome back into RKW on this Friday morning. We are pleased to have, I got to get this right, the voice of the Tennessee Vols with us, Mike Keith, and his new partner is right here next to me as well. It is Ramon Foster, who is now doing color analyst job. Welcome, Mike Keith. We're so happy to have you on in this really exciting day for you guys.
Well, thank you. I'm pleased to have a chance to come back and be on the show with you again. It's been a while.
So what did you first think when you knew for sure this was going down with Ramon Foster, yourself, and Jason Swain, obviously, and Brent Hubbs on the Vol Network as well?
Well, yesterday was the best day that I've had on the job so far, and I've been there for nearly 3 months because I'm really excited about having Brent continue doing what he's done for over 30 years and putting him in a role that I think will give us something that, quite frankly, the Ball Network has never had before since going to a sideline reporter, due to the fact that he's the best guy on the beat, period. He's in a position where he can provide an insight and information and analysis like no other, because he's the most respected person that covers the University of Tennessee, which says a lot to his longevity. So impressed with Jason Swain. And, you know, he's a former Tennessee player. He's built himself through the media there. I think he is really dynamic in terms of his ability to get things across to people that he sees, because he has such a unique perspective. He's just a smart, insightful guy that I'm excited to hear join us in this way. And then Ramon Foster. I mean, he is the VFL of all VFLs that I know. Have had a chance to certainly work with him for the last couple of years. He fits the bill of what we were looking for in the overall role of being the analyst on the football broadcast, and that is, like the four guys that have come before him, somebody that the university is going to be very proud of, somebody that the head coach wanted for this job. Because when Josh Heupel says, yes, I'd love to have Ramon Foster, that means he's going to be welcomed in the building and going to have different looks and insights that the normal people are going to have a chance to have. The VFL aspect of it is obviously a big deal in the professionalism. And then the other part, too, that I know is he has been with us on the road for the last 2 years, and he has seen how Dave McGinnis does it. He has seen how he prepares. He understands the broadcasting part of it. He understands how an entire broadcast team fits together. And Ramon was ready to take the next step in this, regardless of it, if it being us or somebody else. And I was just excited that it could be with the Vol Radio Network and that he has a chance to come back to us in this way and take this next step. And I think from the reaction of the fan base, you can tell that a lot of people agree. So I'm very excited about all three. I'm excited about the entire team that we're going to continue to put together. But the Ramon part and seeing the reaction to that and the support that he has from Cumulus Nashville, 104.5 The Zone, and from the fan base, it's a lot of fun. His Titans radio colleagues are obviously very excited too. I think everyone knows what this means.
No doubt, Mike. You're far too kind, man. I appreciate it. It's hard for me to sit back and listen to people talk about me, but with you, it was good, Mike. It's funny. I was telling Kayla, I was just, before we came back, I was like, yeah, Mike and I are public. We can change our Facebook profiles to in a relationship, Mike. That's what we got.
True. That's true. You can. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah, that's certainly something we can do, I think. So
yeah,
good. Yeah,
I think we can now. Going into the plans moving forward, man. We've discussed a little bit, not a whole lot, as far as what's first to come, and that's the spring game. Mike, you want to give a little bit of a preview into that and how you plan on us shaping it up, I guess, for the Vol Nation and the ones that'll be listening to us also.
Sure. Well, we're going to do a broadcast of the orange and white game a week from tomorrow, from 1 until 2:30 Central Time. And it's not going to be the play-by-play per se of the orange and white game. It's going to be a look at what spring football has been 2025 for the Vols. We will certainly know what's going on the field. We'll allude to some of the things going on in the field, but the spring game is no longer a game like it used to be when I would go to the orange and white game as a kid, and you'd have the orange team and the white team, and they would play a 60-minute game. It's more situational, so it does not lend itself to that. But I do think this. I think the orange and white game is important to Tennessee fans. And that's why so many of them choose to go up and watch whatever display of football is put on. Only 45,000 can be there because of the stadium construction. So we felt like it was important to put on a broadcast to be able to introduce some of our team. And I would say what you will hear will feel more like NFL Network at the Combine, or watching an on-campus workout, or it will be certainly more of a discussion of football than it will be play-by-play. And I think there'll be some insightful things that we can discuss. Mm-hmm. I think there will be some interviews that we can get that people will be interested in. But what this is it is a starting to what is our era calling University of Tennessee football, but also making sure there's a tip of the cap to the fan base that they understand, that we understand, that anything related to Tennessee football is important. And that's why we're choosing to do a broadcast that, while not, Iamaleava completes a pass to Radarius Jackson for a first down, tackled by Ricky Gibson, it's 3rd and 7, not that. But it will be, hey, Iamaleava completes a pass to Radarius Jackson. Hey, Brent Hubs, let's talk about Radarius Jackson's spring, because that's a really good story. That's what we're going to do in 8 days.
That's fascinating, Mike. Just hearing you give a little quick preview of that call right there, it seems like this fan base is going to want a whole lot more of that, Mike. So
I know. I was getting ready for it.
That was a real good drop right there.
Thank you.
Yes, no doubt. On with the other side of things, how's the adjustment been to you, man? Following Bob Kesson, who's been there for a while, and Pat Ryan, but not just before them, though. John Ward, you've been around the Vols for a while. I was looking at your bio a little bit yesterday too, Mike. I learned something new. I didn't realize you was in the Tennessee Vols Baseball Hall of Fame. You got a lot going on too, man, and a big task I know you're ready for up there on Rocket Top yourself.
Well, thanks. It's been trying in some ways because I've been going back and forth, and so that makes it, difficult because we haven't moved up there full time. That's me being a big whiner. And that part of it is, there's the real life stuff that's been challenging. The job thing has been a tremendous amount of fun every day, because there are new challenges and new things that I'm seeing, a lot of things that I have to learn. It's been very humbling because there's so much about the University of Tennessee and Knoxville that I didn't know because I've been gone so long. There's so many people that I've had to meet and familiarize myself with, trying to just, become part of the team. But I think the challenge to this and the exciting part is I come from that family, and that's the Vol Network family is where I come from. I was a part of it for 12 years before I moved to Nashville, and to be able to go back and then to take the time to reshape what is going to be the next era, to help with that is incredibly exciting. Just like when John Ward took over from George Mooney in 1968, he had to figure out how it was going to work for him. And I'm trying to figure out sort of how it's going to work for me in this role, because I'm certainly different from Bob and I'm different from John, and I'm certainly different, not as good as Lindsey Nelson. You have to sit and think about those things. The other thing you have to take into account too is how our fan base consumes all of what we do today and what they want. Do they want a show on YouTube? We're testing one out right now on the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel. We're trying to see if these are things that they want. We're experimenting with what our radio, our TV, our internet, our social, anything we do, we're trying to figure out what's going to be there, because what we know about our fan base is they want content. So how do we not just give them content, but give them the best content in the way that they choose to access it, whether they're 9 years old or 90 years old? And it's fun. Getting involved with the students has been fun. And seeing what they know, which is crazy. It's crazy how advanced they are from, back when I left, in terms of what their technical knowledge is and how, what they've gotten to do in the high schools, in the radio TV programs and in the creative programs that they have, the graphics and things like that. It's fun to see, and we're trying to give them more opportunities and get them more involved in athletics. And, we're telling students, hey, if you want to be part of something special and you want to get into this world, come to Tennessee. We want you, because we're expanding this world, and we want you here, and we want you to be a part of this, not when you graduate, but while you're a student.
Mike Keith, the voice of the Vols, joining us this morning on RKW. So with you having worked with professional athletes in a professional team so long with the Titans, and now going to the college ranks and being able to work and get to know, the guys at the college level and the team at the college level, what's different about that, Mike? And is there any way you go about your business different in that?
Well, what continues, Kayla, is, and it's different than 27 years ago, they still make more money than I do.
That's a great line.
So I thought, when I went, a lot more money in most cases. And I'm not complaining about my money. I'm just saying with NIL, it's like, freshman tight end who's 18 years old, and he's gonna have a bigger W-2 at the end of the year than I will make. So there's some challenge in that, because they're looking for different things. They're looking for opportunities to expand their brand. And I'm thankful for the pro experience, because I'm thankful for it in a lot of ways, but I'm thankful in this way because I kind of understand sort of where they're coming from. They like the Instagram stuff because they're trying to get the word out there about what they've got going on, or the Twitter, or whatever else that they're interested in. So it's been fun. It's been fun to meet them and kind of see what they have going on and what they're thinking. And, we'll have the transfer portal open up again right after spring practice. And so, Kayla, some of these players that I'm learning in the spring may not be here in the fall. Right.
Great point.
And they won't be going to another SEC school, but they may decide to go somewhere else. I mean, some of the people who just entered school in January would even have the option to leave at the end of term. And so it's got more of a pro feel in that way, that there's a constant sense of free agency. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like as you try to learn a ball club and get familiar. That's what I'm trying to do.
Mike, one thing that's been brought up by Vol Nation is the excitement behind you being the voice of the Vols moving forward. but it's also the what you bring. Is there any intimidation with the fact that, like they expect the excitement and to feel the love of the Vols coming through the speakers or however they choose to consume us moving forward? Understanding what that means to this fan base, Mike, that, hey, they like to feel the stadium too. Have you thought about that side of it?
Not till now. Now I'm really afraid. Thanks, Ramon. I was good until you said that. Wow.
I know. That's what you brought me in for,
now
Mike.
I'm in trouble. Thank you, Ramon, for the shot of reality. No, listen, I know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I mean, my dad, every day, I'm working for a professional football team, and I would talk to my dad, and he'd be like, now, what about this guard out of Lynchburg, Virginia? Are we going to get him? I'm like, well, Dad, I don't work there. I don't know, but he would want me to call somebody and find out. I mean, I get it. And I think that's advantageous in this because as we go at it, I know what they want.
Yeah.
When people told me, back when I covered it years ago, nobody cares about recruiting. I'm like, yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. And they certainly did. I have that advantage, is that I come from a family like that. My friends are like that. I get it. Are we going to match up to what they want to have us match up to all the time? Probably not. But is that the standard we're going to try to hit? Yes. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to hit that standard of preparedness, and we're going to try to keep the Vol Network tradition of doing a very professional broadcast, something that anybody would think is being well done from a professional standard. But you also understand, if you listen, it's the Vol Network. Right. We're for Tennessee.
Yeah.
So if you don't want that, then okay. But I think I don't think there's going to be any problem with enthusiasm. I've been accused at times of being excited, getting fired up, really enjoying my job too much. I don't think that probably changes.
No doubt. So it's a few people. I say a lot of people. It's folks you admire along the way. One of those guys, Mike Keefe, a tweet just came in from Leland Statham. Okay. So
I love Leland Statham.
I do too, man. I've yet to catch him at a Kroger's in Hendersonville. Okay. But that's yet to be seen. And I threw an S on the end of Kroger, by the way. But with that being said, Mike, he said, he congratulated us yesterday, and he said, I know you'll do well. Love it when good things happen to folks in our Vol family. Little known fact, though. He said he once won a dozen roses from Mike Keith when he co-hosted a morning radio show in Knoxville at WNOX. Is this true, Mike?
It's 100% true. Yes. It's 100% true. Yeah, Leland and I were in school together. And I'm incredibly proud of him, as one of those people. You go to college, you see people, whether they're in broadcasting or not, you go to college with them, you're like, man, they do well. And that's why him being such a big star makes me very proud. And he's a West Tennessee guy like you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm excited to, we got some West Tennessee on the broadcast. We got some Middle Tennessee on the broadcast. We got some East Tennessee on the broadcast. So I think that's the way it should be.
Real quick,
Leland, one of the great ones.
Mm-hmm.
Just to send, I'm putting you on the spot, Mike. Just to send a couple of chills down some people's hands and goosebumps real quick. Stoney Keeley in our YouTube chat took a quote from you real quick where Mike said, we're building an empire here. Well, the people that'll be tuning in to Vol Network and
I said that.
Yeah, that's what you said, Mike. You sure did.
When did I say we're building an empire?
Well, that's he contextualized it, Mike. But what is that? What does it mean to actually try to build this thing up, Mike?
Well, I don't think I ever said we're building an empire.
This.
That's why I'm taking it too, Mike.
It's a new show.
Thanks, Tony.
Yes.
I think what we're trying to build, and we're going to try to build a total group of people, and not just on the broadcasts on Saturdays, but throughout the course of the week, and with what we're going to do. Certainly, we want more VFLs involved. We want more students involved. We're going to get more sports involved because there's such an interest top to bottom in everything University of Tennessee athletics right now. Everything University of Tennessee, period, has that feeling about it. And I just think what you want to do in today's world is you want to give people a chance to enjoy it as much as possible. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's all. And that'll be what we try to do, is that we try to give them stuff in places where they can get it. If you want to listen to it on your way to work on a podcast, if you want to watch it on your phone, if you want to watch it on TV, certainly we hope you listen to it on 104.5 The Zone as much as possible. However you do it, the Tennessee Athletics YouTube channel, please subscribe, by the way. And we just want people to be able to listen to it, to watch it, to stream it, and to enjoy it, and to feel like they're there. To feel like they're a part of it. We won't break all the news. I mean, that's not our role in this. That's what, different sites do. We won't be the site that does, we won't be the group of people that does the critical analysis. That's for other people to do. We're Tennessee, so, that's not what we're going to do. But can we have John Gruden on an interview that's on a show right now? Yes. Yeah. Yes, we can do that. Can we talk to people that come to campus? Can we have Tony Vitello on talking about a big series and having some fun with some of our athletes? Yeah, I mean, we can do that. And so we're just going to try to be as good in our place as we can possibly be. And you're going to know the people who are bringing it to you love the University of Tennessee and understand what it means to you, which is why we're trying to do the best we can.
Very well put, as always. Mike Keith, the voice of the Vols. You can go check out those interviews with John Gruden and Tony Vitello on the Mike Keith Show. Obviously, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Mike, we appreciate you. We look forward to many visits talking Vols in the future.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I hope you'll have me on again.
Absolutely.
Building an empire, baby.
Yes.
And remember, all weekend long, go Vols.
Go Vols. Yes, sir.
He is Mike Keith, voice of the Vols. We will wrap up the show, take Uncle Bob's call when we return. It's RKW 104.5 The Zone. It is Friday, and we're going to wrap up at least our show here on this fine Friday, a fast Friday. And I love, I don't know if this is becoming a tradition to bring this back in our final segment, but I think we've been doing this.
I'm glad you realized that.
See, I was like, I knew I had been hearing this more recent.
Bert was just back here, and I told him, yeah, this is my new thing on Fridays.
I love this.
What a way to end Friday,
It
right?
really is. It puts you in the mood. It's like the groove. It just makes you even out a little bit.
It does make you even out a little bit. Yeah, because it's a race to get to this 9.
This week's been long.
10 o'clock.
Mo.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been like this for anybody else out there, but this week has been long. Maybe it's the storms and we haven't gotten a lot of sleep. And I'm talking about everybody in Middle Tennessee. Right. But it's been a long week, but an exciting way to end the week as well. Ramon Foster, if you are just joining us, about to listen to the Buck Rising Show with Lucas Panzica, Ramon Foster will be joining the Vol Network with Mike Keith, Jason Swain, and our good friend Brent Hubbs doing football season, which we're super excited about. He's going to be a color analyst. We've had congrats coming in all day, and we're going to go out to Uncle Bob, which is actually the name of my uncle. I call him Uncle Bob. So, Uncle Bob, you got something for Ramon?
Morning, Bob.
Good morning. Thanks for taking the call. Certainly congratulations, Ramon.
Thank you.
Well-deserved. Our paths have crossed a little bit in advance from time to time. You've always been so kind to me. So, just congrats again. Real quick, this Lone Phoenix said in the chat there a minute ago, I wonder what the new call catchphrases or what are you going to say when they score a touchdown or a sack or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, God bless you. I'll tell you like I told the 3HL crew, wouldn't trade y'all for all the cows in Texas. See you later.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it,
Uncle
Bob.
That's so cool.
It is. I
Awesome.
still want to drive Uncle Bob's Porsche. Okay, he's got that Porsche 911 Targa. Oh,
and
my
he's got
God.
the boots.
Woo.
When he came out to visit us at the golf tournament.
Cool. Listen, I know Uncle Bob's in his retirement era right now. That's how you live it.
That's
you
how
go
you
get you a
live it.
Porsche, any sports car you want, and some smooth boots, Caleb. Man, he's killing it.
He is killing it. He brought up the question of Mike Keith, like the call, right?
Yeah, the call.
And in any way will it be different, which should be interesting because it is a different place where you're doing college football, but it's still going to be Mike Keith doing play-by-play for football. I think what's going to be interesting is he's doing some other sports too. And so like him calling, let's say baseball.
Or basketball.
Like,
yeah. I'm not sure baseball.
So he's doing basketball.
Basketball,
though, for sure.
yeah. I'm not sure if baseball has been added to his
But like the
tape.
threes.
Yeah, no doubt.
What's the call for that?
I know.
That's what's always so
I heard the
interesting.
basketball side. I've got a little bit of the football, and we got to wait till the fall.
Oh, boy.
I mean, sure, the broadcast is going to be fun to listen to, but I think we all want to know. Give it to the people. I know you say you can't, but we all want to know. What's the touchdown going to be? What's the sack call going to be? That's what we want to know.
Hey, listen, you got to tune in and listen. Okay. Tune in and listen, man.
Does the tone change at all? You really do wonder.
It's going to be fascinating here. It'll be good. It's Mike. He's a pro with it, and it'll be good. I heard just a smidge, and I'll just leave it to him to deliver that news.
Goosebumps.
What's the biggest going to be the biggest challenge for you? Do you think stepping into a role like this?
Like Mike said, it's the portal side of things, being familiar with the roster, like getting that down first. But not only that, but like we were speaking about quarterbacks yesterday and Kirby Smart, like looking at what Georgia's doing, keeping up with what Florida's got going on when the South Carolina series come up, being familiar with their guys, who's their ex-players, and not just being able to call out the stars, but the guys that the starting center, you know, and following the injury report throughout the course of the weekend. I got to find a pathway into reviewing tape. Like being able to break down, hey, they like to do this on third down, so expecting certain stuff. So now, like Mike Keith said, like listen to Coach Mack, just be very detailed in his delivery. It's a challenge for sure, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And when you like the sport, love the team that you're covering, that's going to be pretty cool. So, and then the other part is giving it space to be able to deliver the call from Mike, but also as quick as the Vols offense rolls. Like
the timing
and excitement
like a
of it too.
Good timing, right?
Yeah, it's going to seriously. The timing, like a quarterback, is being able to have that excitement. And Mike has saw me on the road before, grabbing his arms and Ramon, you got to calm down. Like so, being controlled and excited and giving that emotion to the people that'll be listening to us also. So that's going to be the challenge.
Spring game coming up. So the first time you can hear the crew together is Monday. Spring game?
No, spring game. The last scrimmage is Monday.
The
Monday. Orange and white game is Saturday. You can still get tickets on Ticketmaster. I think they're only $10 if I'm not mistaken. So head on to East. Yeah, April 12th.
2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central. We'll be broadcasting here on 104.5 The Zone and across the state, too. So
you get a little bit of a preview.
I'll be remiss if I didn't say this again. Our direct boss at Cumulus, Paul Mason, walked in. I thanked him again. It's in my context. And also, man, they've been super supportive of me. Here at Cumulus and specifically 104.5 WGFX to allow all of us to explore and showcase our talents to others. And big shout out to Allison Warren, man, seriously, for facilitating the team the way she has here. And I can't say it again. I'll say I'm about to do Buck and Lucas show. But thanks to the Tennessee Titans and Titans Radio for inviting me in their front doors the way they did.
Absolutely. Juggle everything you can when you're in this business for sure. Thanks to our guests today, Mike Keith, our good friend and our buddy Ron Slay, our teammate, and Brent Hubbs. We had a whole Vol show today for y'all, and looking forward to you guys on the call from here on out on the Vol Network. Hey, happy birthday to Keith Bullock as well.
Bully!
Our buddy. And we'll see you next week on Monday. Until then, words of advice.
Oh, Bully and I got a direct competition. Now we open up with Syracuse, baby, in Atlanta.
That's right. And that's a good team.
Yeah,
they've lost some people. That's a good team, though.
Bully, I got to see you in Atlanta, man. But with that being said, man, you know how we do on Fridays. Call somebody you ain't talked to in a while. Buy somebody a random drink. Be nice to people, man, for once in your life. Again, at the end of the day, make it back to us on Monday. Everybody love everybody. But remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.